it's something we have learned. It is something we have. Okay. No, I think we're good. I'll just take a minute to say hello to our members, and then
they do keep us here after all.
And then we'll get going. Stand by, boys. Here we go.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
Speeding slightly above average on their way out of Texas, your Linux Unplugged crew is back. It is episode 636 of your Unplugged program.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
All right, boys, we made it. Congratulations. Welcome back to Washington, Mr. Payne.
Ooh, welcome back yourself.
I would say welcome back to Washington to Brent, but he didn't join us for the drive back all the way.
No, at some point there was just a left turn. It wasn't really announced. We didn't know where he'd went.
I think he had a little too much sake.
I mean, we didn't stop to check, but either way, we were concerned.
Hello, Brent, in Arizona.
Oh, hey there.
Hi. We know you're in Arizona because the tracker tells us that much.
It reveals what I necessarily don't want to.
No.
Hello, Arizona.
But we're going to get into all of that. But before we do, we have a special guest on the line with us right now. Jon Seager's here from Canonical. It's Seager, right, Jon?
Yep, that's right, yeah.
And he's the VP of engineering over there at Canonical. Hey, Jon. So this is our pre-show that we're doing right now. We're hanging out with our members. So I figure what we're going to do while you're on is we'll have a little chat about the new release, and then we'll cut that into the main show with the editing magic of Editor Drew, and it'll be like you just slipped in and joined us live right in the middle of the main show. You know, it's going to be magic. So it's,
nice.
Yeah, you get to, theater of the mind with us. Brentley, are you ready to record over there, handsome?
Strangely, I am, yes.
All right, and Jon, you see you got your eye on the target there for the old record button?
Yep.
Okay. Well, then let's see here. I'm going to, okay, I have mine. Get mine lined up. Okay, so, Wes, I think I'll just drop a regular marker. How should I do this marker-wise? Just a regular marker?
Yeah, totally fine.
Okay.
We'll have to do a little...
Yeah. All right, gentlemen, let's record in 3, 2, 1, record.
Hello, hello.
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 I'm seeing levels here. All good here.
Okay, I am now hitting record on my backside recording here for... it says
You got to reach all the way back there, huh?
It says it failed. I'm going to start again. I don't know if it tells you anything there, Jon, but I'm going to hit record again on my back end recording for you. Okay, yeah, now it says it's going. Hey, look at that. That's neat.
Nice.
Oh, and then it says remote to the channel file down. Oh.
Did it fail?
Yeah, hang on a minute. Mine just stopped too.
This is going great.
How about now? So mine thinks it's recording again now.
Okay, maybe we both can't record.
That would be...
So, okay, what if you stop your recording and I'll try it on mine, okay?
Okay. I think mine is now going for what it's worth.
Okay. I wonder if we can't both go at the same time. I'm going to try. Hit record, because this is the first time I've ever tried this, so we'll see. Sorry, Drew. Okay, starting record. Okay, so now it says it's recording on my end. What does it say on your end? Oh, now it says remote recording is stopped.
Fascinating.
What the hell?
So I bet... Okay, now let me do it. You don't do it. You don't start recording. I'll just try it on my end, okay?
Yep.
I'll see if I can do it all. See if I have the ultimate power. Okay, now what do you see?
Yeah, I see it's recording.
Oh, and it stopped.
And now it stopped.
It's like a fake out.
Okay. Well,
You
okay,
really
so I
trust
don't...
that?
No, we won't use it. So I say, screw it. Go ahead and just do the local record if you would there, Jon and...
Yeah, no problem. I can send it over after.
I will. Thank you, sir.
We appreciate it.
Let me
So you can now see that it's recording? Or not?
It does it. I don't know if it actually does show me that. It does not actually show me if it's recording or not, but matter not. Okay. It matter not. We'll start anyways, and we also have a backup audio here in the studio. So we have like multiple backups, so it's not the only. All right, well, here we go. In 3, 2. Nope.
It was a fake out again.
Nope. Okay, here we go. In 3, 2. And John's back on the program. It's been just since the beginning of the year we were talking, and it's a big week because Ubuntu 25.10 is out. And John, in your release, you say Ubuntu 25.10 is a statement on the intent for the next Ubuntu LTS in 2026. That sounds like a big deal. Welcome back to the program, sir.
Thanks very much for having me. It's good to be back.
So what do you mean when you say it's a statement of intent? Are we to say, is that to say like what's in this release today is what we should expect in the LTS, or what do we mean by that?
I think it's two things, right? So yes, indeed, the things that you see in this release, some of which are a little more testy. The plan is to get those stable and kind of well understood in the hope that we can ship them for the LTS. But it also marks, I think, hopefully what I think will be a change in Ubuntu where we try to have slightly more exciting releases going forward. So we have to dial back that excitement a little bit for the LTS and go a little bit harder on the kind of reliability and stability that our LTS customers expect. But my observation when I came into sort of looking after Ubuntu at Canonical was that the interim releases had kind of stopped being so crazy, and I'd like to make them crazy again. Because I think we're in a position where we can use our extraordinary user base and rather excellent community to push certain things that might actually have an impact beyond just Ubuntu, right? Like it's not just about Ubuntu, it's about trying to advance Linux in general, whether that be on the server or the desktop or devices or whatever that might be.
So how does that manifest then? Because one of the things that I know you've been focusing on is sort of a faster release cadence, I think monthly snapshots. Do you view it as you put those contributions into Ubuntu and hope that the wider Linux community takes them upstream? Or is it more fundamental, like the tooling you're choosing and you're hoping to have an impact there? Like, can you expand on what you mean by that?
Yeah, so the two are somewhat different. The monthly releasing is based on some wisdom that I have picked up over the years working with software teams, which is if releasing is hard, you should do it more. Releasing was hard. Releasing Ubuntu was something we only did every 6 months. It was a relatively dated process, and I wanted to modernize that process. And only getting a chance to think about that process every 6 months is not necessarily very conducive to us making it any better. So the monthly releases was really a tool for the release management team, though it may not have felt like that for them the first time. It was a tool for them to understand their own process better and improve their understanding, and it really shows. So this time we have a release sprint when we release Ubuntu. We get together, a few of us in our London office, and this time we were all done, like hours early, just waiting to release the press release at the time we said we would release, and that has basically never happened as far as I can tell. The tooling side of things is more where I want to push. So this is things like the Rust core utils and the Rust sudo implementation, and potentially some of the work we're doing around TPM full disk encryption and a few other initiatives like that.
I see. So I don't really know, but to me it would seem like what you're trying to do is push on processes that were designed to improve stability and reliability of the release. So have you gotten pushback saying, John, you're changing things that we put in place on purpose, like we had lessons learned and that's why we do it this way, and you want to change it so we can release faster? Has that been a problem?
A little, but I would temper that with I am asking questions and pushing, but not being reckless. Like I've been accused of trying to turn Ubuntu into various other things, like maybe NixOS. You'll have heard me waxing lyrical about that before, and that's not the purpose. The purpose is to try and understand how we could evolve Ubuntu to give ourselves and our customers, be those tinkerers at home or our paid customers, the assurance they need that Ubuntu is the stable platform, the reliable platform, the resilient platform they want, but also delivers on the mission that Ubuntu was started with, right? Which is all about delivering the very best of open source to a really wide audience. So back in the day, I wasn't around in the Linux scene then, but when Ubuntu first kind of forked off from Debian or became a downstream of Debian, the whole point was to provide an area where we could ship newer, more exciting software that perhaps was more complicated in Debian because of licensing or policy or process. And I think that's fine. Like, I think the two should exist. I don't think Debian should do what we do, and I don't think we should do what Debian does in the same way I don't think we should do what Arch or Nix do, right? But that doesn't mean that the processes that we have used for the last 20 years are unchangeable. A lot has changed in software engineering in 20 years, and I would like our processes to reflect that where possible. So it's mostly about more automated testing, more automation in the release process, which should, if we do it well, enable us to have more trust in that release process, not less, I think, and spend less time on the mechanics of releasing and more time on polishing what it is that we're releasing.
Right.
The release process should not be the exciting part about an Ubuntu release. The features that we ship and the tools that we ship should be the exciting piece.
Amen to that.
Well put. Okay, so kind of along the same lines of herding cats a little bit, I feel like there's more communication along the development process, in part from you, but others on the team were more on the forum, blogging. Has that been, I don't know if mandate's the right word, has there been encouragement there? What's that communication like to people that are busy working on Ubuntu and focused on actually doing the development or doing the QA? How do you convince them we need you to be more public about what you're working on, and how's that gone over?
Yeah, so I'll be honest, it kind of was a mandate to start with. I think what happened is Canonical, as it grew and became more grown up as a company, we adopted things like Google Workplace and Mattermost, and a lot of the communication that would previously have been public in IRC and on forums kind of naturally ended up in Mattermost and on Google Docs. That's where we were all hanging out as Canonical employees, right? And so I think lots of the process, lots of the discussion around Ubuntu suddenly became quite opaque. And one of my hopes was that I could change that a little bit. And so I did actually essentially mandate that every team that I look after, so that's the Ubuntu desktop, server, foundations, and more recently the Debcrafters team, I mandated essentially there should be at least a post every week from one of us. And to start with, I just did like a round robin. So I said, I'll go this week, foundations the following week, server the next week, Debcrafters the next week, and we'll just go on a rotation. And I think that was quite tough for the team, and I'm really proud of how they rose to that. But what's been interesting is that other people on those teams have seen the engagement that those posts were getting and the interest that it drives to the project and started following suit without me asking, right? And now I think it is quite clear that we have a group of developers in Ubuntu engineering who want to talk about what they're doing because they find it interesting and they like it when people ask them questions about it and give discussion and thoughts for improvement and things like that. So it started out as a mandate. I do... I put my hand up, there is still a bit of a mandate. I do expect there to be something every week from Ubuntu engineering, but there's much more than that happening, which I'm really pleased to see.
Well, it's great to see from the outside. It feels like life.
Yeah, I mean, it's good for us, just, for our business, but it feels good for the community too, right? There's more to pay attention to, more to keep Ubuntu fresh in your mind.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about 2510. We've got a new GNOME 49 in there, right? So that means we're going to get a lot of nice stuff like HDR. What should we talk about with 2510? What's the big thing on your mind?
The big controversial thing, perhaps controversial, I don't know, is the Rust utilities, right? So we replaced GNU Core utils with the utils implementation, and we replaced sudo with sudo rs. And they, to varying degrees, represent the most risk, I suppose, but I feel comfortable about it, particularly sudo rs, which is a much tighter in scope, and therefore it's easier for us to kind of reason about the impact it's likely to have. But the relationship that we've got with the utils project and the Trifecta Tech Foundation has been phenomenal. We've been speaking with them pretty much weekly, if not more regularly throughout the entire cycle. They've been super responsive to bugs and feedback. And so really I see 2510 as a bit of a proving ground. There are still a handful of utilities that we have diverted back to the GNU implementations where we see that there are issues still. Because at the end of the day, as much as I would love to push this, I'm not going to do it irresponsibly and just push broken stuff to people's machines, right? So the idea is that we would iron out all of those issues throughout this cycle and for 2604 be as close to a full replacement as we possibly can.
What do you consider to be a major issue with the Rust tooling right now?
So we have an issue that I think was reported on Phoronix where there is a slight discrepancy between how the MD5 checksum tool behaves in certain cases, which impacts make self archives, which is used as part of the Phoronix test suite. There is an issue with directory traversal. So some of the code for the tools that have the ability to recurse through directories, maybe that is, I'm trying to think of an example, anything like ls or cp or move or anything like that. The directory traversal code was written quite naively and could be left vulnerable. So we kind of waited for that to be fixed before we moved across.
I see.
There's been a handful of issues, some of them really tiny, some of them less tiny. There was one that bit us where the date command output the date in a slightly wrong format and broke a huge number of the package builds in the archive.
That's a classic programming thing, right? I mean, dates. Who
Right.
wants to work with dates?
Right. There is a link. I wrote a blog post last week saying kind of a retrospective about this, and there's a link which shows the list of all the utilities that we've diverted back. And the bug tracker is really active, and the maintainer is in there helping us out, along with what appears to be a really nice, like, vibrant, active community around that project. So,
You mentioned your relationship with Upstream, and when you were here last time, I think you're pretty hopeful about how this could be good, not only for pushing Ubuntu and the Linux desktop forward, but also for these Upstream projects. How has that been going?
yeah, I mean, from my opinion, it's great. So the way this sort of unfolded is I had the idea that I would like to do it. I reached out to Sylvester, who's the kind of project leader for utils, and said that I was interested in doing this, and did he think the project was ready, and would he need some funding to help out, which we agreed and kind of moved forward. And similarly for Sulu, right, I reached out to the folks there and said, I'm interested in doing this. What do you think? Both responded with huge enthusiasm. We did a bit of back and forth on some feature work that we would need doing, or some targeted effort on bugs. And yeah, I think they're certainly getting increased interest. We don't know exactly how many Ubuntu users there are, because we have very limited telemetry anyway, and anyone who is kind of behind a corporate firewall or opts out of it, we don't get it. So we don't know exactly how many there are, but there's definitely more than 10 million desktop users alone. I shudder to think how many server users there are. So you've got to imagine a pretty enormous increase in their daily users as a result of this.
And I mean, I think it's showing, right? Like, one way to view this is maybe, okay, it's not fully ready if we're still finding these issues. But another is, okay, the massive scale that Ubuntu brings means you actually finally do find a lot of these edge cases and can really iron out your software to make it, robust.
And hopefully they then have some funding. Like, if they can't fix the issue themselves, they have some funding to pay other developers to help them out, right? Like pay bounties. A lot of the issues have been performance issues. So that I found an issue with word count, which made it 10% slower than the GNU implementation. I found an issue, someone found that interesting. 2 days later, it was 11% faster than the GNU one, right? Like, so there definitely are going to be places where there are rough edges. We certainly haven't exhausted every code path, right? But actually, overall, I'm surprised at how surface level much of the problems we found have been.
That's my takeaway. Before we move completely off of Rust, one last question is, it seems like some people that are building on Rust find themselves in this contentious spot where it's a hot topic online. People love debating sort of like these hot button issues in the Linux community, and Rust has become one of them. And it seems like, you want to push this forward at the same time, not really engage in that. How do you walk that? Is that a challenge? Is it a brand risk association at all? Those types of things.
I have tried to steer clear of those sorts of conversations. Not to not address it here. So one of the biggest criticisms that we got for this, or I got for this, was the change in license of the core utils package. There were lots of people that were very concerned that the Rust implementation is not GPL, it's MIT.
Right.
And my view was the opinion I've come to is that, as far as I can tell, the values of the utils project are very well aligned with that of Ubuntu. And so, in reality, anybody who installs Ubuntu on a machine is entering a sort of trust relationship with Canonical, right? Like, every time you run apt, we're root on your machine. That's how apt works. You kind of have to trust us. And so, I think my view is that it's not like we wrote the core utils code in the first place. We were shipping GNU's core utils. Their values align with ours. The code was, provided something we needed. And now we're shipping a different implementation. And if something were to change, and we felt like the utils project was not representative of the values of Ubuntu, or was not servicing our community, well, either we'd ship the GNU one again, or we'd ship something else. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're a distribution. I mean, we're curating what we think is the best for our users. And I think particularly in the case of core utils, I don't see it as a huge moneymaker for anyone, in a sense. Like, I think for things like Elasticsearch was one of these famous cases where the licensing put them in a complicated position commercially, and they've changed their licensing terms, and that's gone how that's gone. I don't see as much of a risk with core utils personally. Like, Canonical is certainly not making a move to try and monetize core utils. We're just shipping something that we think is going to be a bit faster and a bit safer in the long term, right? And a bit easier for us to maintain in a long term. That's really all there is to it.
I've heard you talk about building with a 20-year mindset. And that's where this plays in, right? It's maintaining software that enterprises run for just a bonkers long amount of time.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we do 12 years extended support at the moment. There's talk of possibly extending that. And in reality, I want us to be maintaining code that's as easy for us to build, test, find contributors to as we possibly can. Right? Obviously, we want to do that. We want to make that task as easy as possible, not only so we can get the fixes out sooner, but the easier each piece of software is for us to maintain, the more pieces of software we can maintain at the end of the day.
Okay, I want to ask you one other thing that sounds pretty neat. I believe this is the release where init ramfs tools has been replaced. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Yes, on the desktop. So in 2510, we're using Dracut. I don't know how to pronounce that. I think it's Dracut. So we're using that on 2510 for desktop. Work is underway to do that for the server, but there were a few use cases where we hadn't quite ironed things out, so we haven't rolled it out to server just yet. Work is ongoing. My hope is that we would do that for 2604, but again, not if we can't be very sure. The difficulty there is in cases where people need to load kind of weird drivers early on in server boot, perhaps for like a fancy networking card or whatever it might be. We just haven't quite got there yet. But yes, if you install Questing for your desktop, you'll be using Dracut, not init ramfs tools.
That seems exciting.
Yeah, I'm curious. Firstly, what was the motivation, to make the switch? And then secondly, I believe this is just an Ubuntu layer switch. This isn't something Debian was also doing, right?
Yeah, so the motivation there is, I think, stability of kind of boot. I mean, it's a few less bash scripts in the boot path. It also enables us to use the systemd init scripts, which theoretically gives us a slight performance advantage, and the regeneration of the kernel image at kind of if you apt upgrade and you get a new kernel, the regeneration of the kernel image should be slightly faster. But broadly, it was seen as a way of getting more bash out of the boot, essentially. So just a slightly more robust way to boot a system.
Yeah, and less bash to maintain, hopefully.
So the next question I have for
Exactly.
you, and I imagine this probably really won't be much of a story a couple of days after release, but what's going on around release day with Flatpaks and 2510? Are there problems there right now? Are those being resolved?
Yeah, indeed, there was a problem there. So one of the things you're aware that we use snap packaging mostly on Ubuntu, and the security confinement for snap packages is provided by AppArmor. But AppArmor doesn't only work for snaps, right? So AppArmor is a generic Linux security module in lieu of SE Linux or anything else. And part of an effort that's been going on in Canonical for the last kind of year or so is an effort to just ship way more AppArmor profiles for everything in the archive, so that increasingly as you install things from the archive, they can only access the things on your system they're supposed to access.
Sure.
Right? So if you ship, I don't know, a PDF reader, should that thing be able to automatically get access to your camera? Probably not, right? So that's maybe a contrived example, but the idea is we will ship more and more AppArmor profiles to make sure that every piece of software you get from the Ubuntu archive can only read file system paths and devices that it should be able to read. And in this case, I believe the root cause of the issue was we shipped an AppArmor profile for, I want to say, Fuse, and we got something wrong, and essentially that stopped Flatpak from functioning correctly. There is a fix underway if it's not already complete. It was almost finished on Friday, and so that will get kind of backported back into, or SRU'd back into Questing as soon as it's ready.
We have been really, impressed with the fact that you stuck to the plan of shipping really recent kernels, hot kernels. Yeah, the fresh stuff. We love that. And
617 right in 2510 as it's released. That's great.
Yeah. So talk about that a bit.
We have a policy. Yeah, we have a policy with both GNOME and kernel. And the policy is basically just ship it, right? Like even if it's in RC. And there's a motivation behind this. So our kernel team is big. It's one of the biggest engineering teams at Canonical. And in the desktop, it's important, right? People want things like HDR support. They want better accessibility. And obviously we're a little bit beholden to other people's release cadence, except that our releases are literally named after the month we release in, so we can't really delay them. And so the deal that we have done with our kernel team and the agreement we have in the desktop team is basically we will always ship the latest GNOME or the latest kernel, even if it's in release candidate when we release. And then as soon as the thing is out, we will make sure that the fully released version is in. And the reason is, in reality, we have to maintain the thing for 12 years anyway. It may as well be the latest, most modern thing we possibly can. And there's nothing to say, just because it's an RC, that it's going to be a bad kernel. Like in the past, we've picked kernels that have been stable, and they've still been horrifying to maintain for whatever reason, right? Like we picked a bad kernel to choose. And so the view is basically, well, we may as well just ship the very latest we can, right? It's most likely to have the most fixes, the most hardware support, the most features, and we're going to have to maintain it either way. So why not?
Yeah, it just makes so much sense to me. Okay, I want to shift gears and ask you if there's anything you're kind of taking as observations or lessons from the relative popularity that a new meta distro or distribution called Omarchy has gotten in the last 6 months. My rough, napkin math puts them around 30 to 40,000 users. So, that's put it in perspective for the Ubuntu desktop. But I'm curious if you're noticing anything there, trends of the types of users or what seems to be appealing to people.
I think what's interesting about that is precisely what you're saying. It is perhaps because of the people who make it and their background. It is capturing a certain kind of audience, right? Certainly, I'm sure Ruby developers, Rails developers, but there's a whole bunch of people who have been using Macs for a certain kind of development who are now trying out Linux because people in their circles are trying out Linux and finding it great. And I would honestly love to make Ubuntu a place where those people could have a great life. I think the mythical new user story is important. I care about new users. I care about inexperienced people using computers. But I actually think for Ubuntu, I do believe that for the desktop, a huge part of our market has to be developers, right? It has to be people who are either developing professionally. So we see huge growth in our WSL numbers, like monumental growth in WSL, the number of people who are using Ubuntu on Windows to do their development work. Or maybe it's just people messing around with the ESP Home or whatever it is, right? Like tinkering at home. And so we actually have a whole toolchains team, which has grown a lot in the last year, focused on trying to make the development experience on Ubuntu as good as we possibly can, whether you're a Rust developer, a Java developer. And I think Omarchy and others are kind of proving the point that even if you've been a Mac user for 10 years, at this point, there's probably enough maturity on Linux for those people to have a great experience developing on Linux too.
Yeah, it seems to me one of the things that's appealing, although it's not something that hasn't been tried before, is an opinionated, ready-to-go setup that makes starting for developers easy. That's one of the things I see on social media a lot is, I was able to just get going. And we've seen Ubuntu take cracks at this. We've seen a lot of distributions take, one or two commands to set up an entire development environment. So that's not necessarily a new idea, but yet it's resonating this time. Do you think it's a desktop environment aspect as well, or do you think it's just a matter of Windows 10 is going away, Windows 11 isn't satisfying people, or the requirements are too high, and the Mac desktop seems to be ignoring developers? Do you think it's just the proprietary platforms are blowing it right now, or is there something that Omarchy has nailed in the presentation that maybe the other distributions have missed, even though they've taken a stab at an opinionated, out-of-the-box setup?
I think it's both. I think my experience with macOS is it maybe hasn't got the attention it used to get from Apple. I was a macOS user for years, and I remember very proudly telling people that it was the best computer I'd ever had, and I would be very surprised if someone convinced me otherwise. And my feeling of that over time, this was many years ago now, but was that it was started to go a bit stale. And I think we see that a lot with the focus on iOS and iPadOS. I don't think there's the same level of investment there personally. I also think what's interesting about Omarchy to me is that they chose something like Hyperland, they chose Arch, and I wonder how many developers are experienced technical people who have always been curious about Arch but have heard how hard it is to install. They're curious about Hyperland because they see these amazing screenshots on the internet, and this is just a really, really nice way to get going, right? Even just in a VM, like you install it, oh wow, that was really easy, I can now play with it right away. So it's just made a whole collection of quite niche, ultimately, technologies really accessible. And they are interesting, right? They're exciting things to play with. So I think it's a combination of factors.
I wonder if it's not the trend, but an indication of a trend that we're going to see. Like, this could be the leading edge. Ultimately, I think if you're going to maintain an Arch box, it's probably good that you understand how that Arch box is set up long term.
For sure.
But I wonder if this isn't a leading edge, and if you aren't getting that puck skating, if you'll excuse this really horrible metaphor, if you aren't beginning to get that puck skating for the Ubuntu desktop, where this trend might be going, we may be just seeing the very beginning of this. And is this kind of idea been in the back of your head as you've been pushing to make the interim releases more interesting and engage more with the community? Mm-hmm. Is that sort of the strategy here?
Yeah, what I would like is that for people on Ubuntu, or people who are on Linux for work, and it happens to be Ubuntu, for example, that when they hear about something new or exciting or useful, it is available to them in an up-to-date and well-maintained form. Now, some of those are going to be snaps. Sorry, like the people lots of people have opinions about those, and that's fine. But snaps give us this superpower, basically, to ship software to all manner of different Ubuntu releases over a really long period of time and keep backporting features to those releases, right? So we have some work upcoming on kind of like portable developer environments that will come out next year. But also our toolchain teams are working on things like, they have these things called dev packs. There's a dev pack for Spring. So if you're a Spring Boot developer, you can get like the latest Java development kits and the GraalVM compiler and all these like shiny things that Java developers would want by installing a single snap. And the environment is completely set up for you to just get on with your work and work in Spring. And we're doing the same for Go. We're doing the same for Rust, for .NET. And so I would like for not just the toolchain to be up to date in the archive, which is kind of necessary for us to build the software we ship, but also for developers to be able to get all of the LSPs and static analyzers and formatters that they hear about really, really easily on their Ubuntu machine without having to like curl to bash, add some GPG key to your machine. Like that's an odd trust relationship at the end of the day. You see a piece of software, you add a PPA to your machine, and then you run the maintainer scripts and that thing as root every time you update the package.
Until it's no longer available.
Until it's no longer available. And, sure, you're giving root to Canonical when you run apt, but like I say, if you kind of have to trust Canonical if you're going to run Ubuntu, right, in a sense. And so it would be, in my view, if you're going to have to give that ultimate trust to somebody, you want to limit the number of people you give it to, right? And so we can publish, security maintained kind of verified snaps on the store, and we can push things into the archive. But there are some kinds of software that it's much simpler for us to ship to a much higher number of users with something like snaps, for example, or as a container image, perhaps.
Yeah, it seems like, snaps are kind of, at least for the dev stuff you were talking about, snaps are allowing you to bring containerized development and deployment workflows, but in a, I guess, a different flavor than you see in tools like Docker and Podman.
Right.
John, I could ask you thousands of more questions. We should probably, we should check in again in a few months.
Yeah, for sure.
Is there anything we didn't touch on that you want to touch on before we wrap up?
There is a really nice step towards a better TPM full disk encryption setup. So this is essentially where you want to have an encrypted disk, but you don't want to enter your password twice when you boot up. So It basically allows you to store that disk encryption key in the TPM, and assuming that the kernel hasn't been tampered with and the command hasn't been changed and the machine hasn't been messed with, it should unlock the disk automatically. We have that. We've had that as an option, an experimental option in our installer for some time, and I'm pushing really hard for us to have that not as experimental for 2604. It's in better shape than it's ever been. There's been a huge amount of work on it, which you can read a bit about on our discourse or in my blog. But I'd really encourage people to give that a go, particularly on machines with slightly simpler partitioning setups. So at the moment, it's kind of single root partition kind of thing. But I'm really proud of the way the team have come together. That is an effort across Snapd and kernel and desktop. And it's a huge effort to bring that across the line. And the more feedback we can get on it, the better. So I think that's a really interesting piece of work that is a genuine win, right? Like you get better security and better usability. Like we don't often get to have both of those things at the same time.
Yeah, I'm curious, is that kind of what was driving it as an effort for just the general experience, or is this something that you've also seen maybe asks from, people doing enterprise desktop deployments, that kind of thing?
Yeah, firstly, as a user of it myself, I would like this. And secondly, for sure, if you look at things like the macOS File Vault or Windows BitLocker, these are features that people have come to expect in operating systems in an enterprise environment, and we also play in that space. So I think it's important for us to provide that.
Okay, one last pet question, just because I want to be able to pick your brain on this. What are your thoughts, maybe after the LTS, I don't know, but down the road, so no time commitments, but what are your thoughts on integration of a Bcachefs DKMS module or giving Bcachefs access to users during the install of one of the interim releases sometime in the future? Is that on your radar at all, John?
I haven't got it planned, but I'm not against it. I've been following the whole Bcachefs story quite closely. We obviously did some work on ZFS a few years ago, which still exists, so you can still install ZFS on root, and things like Zsys, which is our tooling around it, still exist. We are actually working, so Subiquity, which is the kind of installer that sits beneath the graphical installer for desktop, and in fact the actual installer you interact with on a server, can support all kinds of different partitioning schemes. It's quite limited at the moment, but we're doing some work this cycle specifically to enable a couple of the Ubuntu flavors to have a slightly different partitioning layout. So that would open the door for more complex partitioning schemes, sort of guided partitioning schemes rather than manual partitioning where people wanted that. As for Bcachefs itself, I am not against it. It's not planned work right now. I don't see it as super high priority at the moment, but equally, like, we ship our own kernel, right? So we have always chosen what goes into that kernel and what doesn't, which drivers we ship, which file systems we ship, and this would just be another variable there, right? I don't think it's a particularly controversial decision for us, at least.
Right.
Famously, for example, we ship ZFS where lots of distros have shied away from that.
And seemingly has worked out great so far, and many users appreciate the fact that you do. So, John, thank you so much for spending a little time with us. I'd love to do it again, maybe in April if you're available, and pick your brain again then. Well, thank you so much, and congrats on the release. We'll link to your post about it, and as well as some of the community discussions, and of course, the downloads, and any other links you want to send our way, we'll throw in the show notes. And come back real soon, sir.
Thank you very much. I will. Thanks for having me.
And stop right there, gentlemen. John, you can hit stop, and Brent, you can hit stop. Well done. And hopefully that just gives you a WebM file of some huge proportion that downloads from your local storage, but I have no idea.
I tell me so. Right now, I have a 0 bytes WebM file, which is not looking super
That's kind of what I expected.
Right.
We have audio over here, so
Yeah, there weren't any drops or anything.
yeah,
So.
your audio came in nice and clean the entire time, so no problem at all.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, fellas. It looks like that file did not work. I don't know why.
No, I didn't expect it to. I do think I have a solution. It's pretty crazy, but I can pull your feed into a separate instance of OBS and capture that as its own separate track. I just have to play around more with that in the future.
You madman.
I know, I am. But it's a really cool tool, so it's worth figuring out. Well, yeah, thank you, John. We'll cut that into the main show. And
Nice. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it should be out.
Yeah, and if lovely. And of course, just message me on Matrix or Telegram or whatever. If there's anything that pops into your head and you want me to jump on, I'm more than happy to.
appreciate that too. You're great. You really are. Thank you for taking the time. Yeah, and once I get Matrix back up, ping me anytime or on Telegram, absolutely as well. If we've done something wrong, also, or if we,
Yeah, we're always open to corrections.
always, let us know. So,
Will do.
all right, have a good rest of your day. Or
Thanks very much.
All right, bye now.
Cheers. Thanks, folks.
Okay, Brantley. Whoa, that shot doesn't.
Whoa! You broke it.
That's not so great. Let's see if I can.
So I don't have anything.
Huh?
I don't have any waveforms in that audio recording.
So you don't really need to
I'm just
upload
gonna
it. Yeah, that makes sense.
Throw it away.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'll see if I can't fix this real quick.
It's all right. Audio recording's a new technology. It's just coming out.
Yes, waveform is a better deal.
Oh, it sure is.
Waveform is a better deal. What do you think? Do you like are people? Oh, I can't ask the chat. Oh God,
I know it's tough.
Let me ask. Is anybody in the Mumble Room also watching the video feed? I just want to know if it's working okay, but I can't ask the chat room.
It seemed nice from what I could see.
Yeah,
like it felt pretty smooth and everything was in its right place.
I was hoping
Currently, it's quite broken.
hoping to have the chat up for today, of course, but then I got roped into moving a couch and stuff. So.
Yeah, and then a broken studio.
Yep.
We'll probably fix it after the show, but you could throw some title suggestions in the Telegram group, I suppose.
Oh, for sure.
We could go check on those. I don't know.
I can see your jaw and Brent's beautiful face.
Oh,
what?
Lovely.
What does that mean?
Yeah, that's why we made
The
him the
way you
face of
had
the
it
show.
like lined up.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm a bit behind or something.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well.
And so I guess we're doing that members show, huh?
Yeah, we're doing the show now.
Oh, yeah, right. Hi, members.
It's weird.
Thanks for being with us.
It's weird to
putting
do
up
that.
with our wacky stuff.
Doing it out of order. We're kind of just coming in hot. You know what I mean? We're coming in hot. Maybe we should start there. We just got back.
True, we sure did. If it just feels like just.
I know. We need like we survived. We made it. No accidents. No tickets. I feel like that's an accomplishment right there. No tickets, no accidents.
No breakdowns either.
No major breakdowns. I did save a couple of extra clips for the members
Oh, you.
that I thought we could play because these don't really fit in the main show, but I thought maybe the members would like to get a real behind the scenes because these were some extended clips that I feel like really capture what it's like being on the road with us. And this is us pulling out of our Airbnb after a couple of hours. We were supposed to be out of there like at 9:30, and we ended up messing around with Brent's rig. So this clip is actually the time on this is 12 p.m. Does it take us that? No, that can't.
No,
maybe we
no,
said the
that
time in
can't
it.
be.
All right, here's the clip. We finally get in the car. Roger that. Let me know when you're ready to roll out, and I'll get out of your way. Can we please just dance? Come on. Why can't we dance?
I want to dance.
Less than half a tank. I'm actually just above a quarter of a tank, so I think we're probably still okay for a bit, but I have a little less gas than I thought I did. So we drove her out.
This was our Austin touring vehicle. North Austin touring, pretty much exclusively this trip.
That's true.
You have to remember you won't be driving as fast as you were on the way here, right? Because we don't have any, tight deadlines or anything, right?
Yeah, of course, Brent. Yeah, I mean, of course.
Well, there, don't you feel better?
Is he ready?
You know he's not.
Gosh darn 7:40.
No, okay, got it.
My home time. What is the context in which you say got it? Because you say got it, and I think, oh, he's ready to go, but then I see you stand up, so I'm just curious.
I was waiting for you. You said you'd get out of my way.
Okay, all right, says the guy walking around the van. Okay, I'm pulling out of your way.
Get out of here.
This guy went.
Oh, we've got reverse indicators activated.
Yeah, we do. It's officially
Van is
happening.
in motion,
The
even
van
though we
is
are in the
rolling.
way.
Oh my God, it's happening, Wes. It's actually happening. Oh, of course, I went the wrong way.
Yeah.
I seem to do
I
that.
thought
every
you
other-
had like a spin around move planned.
Well, this is always the way
Hey,
it's
did you
happening.
remember to grab your plumb vest?
This idiot. Okay. It takes me back. What did you? That drive actually, we have to say, we thought it was going to be horrible through New Mexico. The drive through New Mexico had been recently repaired on in a lot of spots. It was pretty smooth. Overall, the drive, I did fine. I didn't outrun you, right? We paced pretty well. Did you? I thought. What'd you think?
Yeah, you were pretty good at it. I have experienced this. It's quite difficult to, modulate your speed as the person in the front.
Yeah.
Like to gauge your speed based on the person behind you's comfortable speed.
Yeah.
You did pretty good. There are a couple times where I was like, Chris, I know you go faster. I'm just going down this hill. I'm doing it. Please speed up. And then you'd oh, there he is. And then just take off. And I had no chance of.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was because I'd be talking to Wes.
I'm like, oh, wait a sec. The moose is coming.
Yeah, exactly.
But I certainly on that route felt like my acceleration was limited because we, had issues with belt slipping on the alternator, and I suspect also on the power steering, but I haven't told you that yet. So I was trying to limit how much I was really pushing it at high revs because that's when the problem seemed to really show up. So
Right.
my acceleration was a little slower, but I think we did pretty good.
Yeah, I think so. And we did get a chance on our way out of Texas to stop by Buc-ee's, which was super funny when we plugged it into the nav.
Starting route to Buc-ee's.
I just love the way it says it.
Buc-ee's.
Yes.
Starting route to Buc-ee's.
So we got to do the Buc-ee's. Buc-ee's, it's kind of a meme, really, as a gas station. It is ridiculously big, and they only build it where they can make it huge. So every Buc-ee's is ginormous. They are also very clean, and they have a ton of food. So it actually is a really nice place to stop. As much of a meme as it is, they've got we just loaded up on road snacks for the day, so we only had to make pretty much one stop.
I'm still snacking on Bucky snacks, actually.
So this was us leaving Bucky's after a successful. We all, I think, did pretty well. We did pretty well at Bucky's.
All right, we have 3 options, and 2 of the options involve quite a bit of elevation climbing. One option is 2 hours longer, but we bypass some of the elevation. Realistically, that'd be a lot easier on the van.
But
I don't think he's going to go for it.
more boring for us.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. I would do it, though, for the van.
Oh, of course. I just don't think he'll let us do it. For the
6
van.
hours, 15 minutes maps time if we take the passes. It's 8 hours and 20 minutes flat way. So, yeah.
Well, that does mean we've had a slower van-based morning.
Yeah, it's definitely
So
moving a lot slower.
it's almost noon.
Yeah.
So 8 hours on top of that.
Oh, he's trying to... Oh, we got it started. Good.
It does start much better than
Yeah,
it's cold.
we would be so far down the road right now. Because it's 11. And
Almost noon.
It's almost noon.
We have eaten, so we're good
Yeah.
for a while.
Yeah. So I'm going to radio him and see what he wants to do. Hey, Brentley, now is the time where we have to make our decision if we're going to take the passes or if we're going to take the flatter route.
I say let's do it.
How did I know that would be your answer? Okay, you sure? You sure? I don't think you're sure. He's not sure.
He's full of nuts. What is he doing?
You are so not sure right now. I'm
is he
taking this
assembling?
silence as a determinate not sure.
I mean, how hard could it be, really?
I think this is where we have to decide what's our protocol. Do we leave him and continue to the Airbnb if he breaks down, or do we stay?
Wes, you won't have internet anymore after we start driving. I'm sorry about that.
Are you tethered off of him?
Well, remember when I accidentally joined some Nexus hotspot the
That
other
was
day?
his?
Yeah.
Nexus. Who names their hotspot Nexus in 2025, dude? All right, well, I guess make sure your walkie's charged.
Oh, I have a charging plug for it right on the dash.
Okay, well, just radio us when we're going up the passes if anything goes wrong. I mean, we have a while. We have to get through New Mexico first, which is going to be most of the day. But, you know, just walk us if anything goes wrong. And yeah, I see that Cosmo. I see you're getting cat love right now.
He thought you could, you wanted to see his cat butt.
Yeah, definitely getting some cat butt here. All right, I'm firing things up. Let me know when you're ready.
Yep, I'm feeling pretty ready, actually. So, why New Mexico? Can't we just skip it?
Well, if we weren't taking the passes, we would skip it.
Well, I didn't realize that was part of the decision. Am I going to make it through New Mexico? I'm not worried about the passes.
Yeah, I mean, you'll make it. Yeah, I don't know. It's not the best. We could go up through the Oklahoma Panhandle. It'd be a little bit easier of a drive for you, probably, and then we would bypass New Mexico altogether.
Damn, that makes it a hard decision. I mean, I want passes, so, you know.
You're a man who loves his passes, aren't you? You're a man who loves passes. Well, then, we're just doing the top corner of New Mexico. Like, we're not going through, like, Albuquerque or anything like that.
I'm a man with a van who loves passes.
All right, setting course for New Mexico and then on to the passes. This should be an interesting day.
It was, actually. It wasn't too bad, actually. I'm glad we did it.
Can I also say how gentle that pass was?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
kind of
Chris, you and I have done
Way worse.
some, oh yeah, crazy passes. And that was, like, I don't even know why we struggled with that decision in the end, because it was just super gentle. The van did great, and it was...
Well, we didn't know the road work had been done. That was one thing. That I think made
True.
it, there was some... And if we were going the opposite direction, we would have been stuck in a lot of the repair work. So we got kind of lucky in the direction.
We did okay.
So where are you now? Where in the world did you end up? You're in Arizona.
Well, we ultimately ended up in Denver, and then I was like, well, this is, there's so many places you can go from here. And I thought, why don't I just go the opposite direction of home? and head down and see my buddy Jason in Arizona, basically in Flagstaff, which I've never been to, and you keep raving about it. So
it's nice, isn't it? You like it so far?
Oh, yeah, it's great. I haven't had too much time to like walk around and explore downtown and those kind of things, but so far, yeah, I think it's pretty cool. It's kind of like has Pacific Northwest vibes from a culture perspective, even though being, not there.
I have a question. When we were last together, you had sort of mentioned you had a family trip that you wanted to go on and had like a date to get back. Has that shifted or changed, or do you just have a lot of driving to go?
Yep. So best case scenario is I get there on the 17th. Today is the 12th. I think that is unlikely. Especially considering I probably have a half day of like van repairs I should do before.
And winterize. I would hate for it to freeze up while you're gone.
Ooh.
What about, here's a crazy idea. What about parking the van and flying home?
Probably I do have 2 cats, right? So I have to fly.
Oh. Anybody there take care of cats? They're easy to take care of.
I'm really good at putting myself in these interesting predicaments that we need to solve that are very entertaining in the end.
Well, they're motivation to solve them, aren't they? That's just something to consider, I mean, really all you need to worry about mostly is your plumbing and your water heater.
And the rain, how the rain's getting in.
You want to make sure you don't have anything in your water heater, or if you do, you got, the antifreeze in there.
Well, I'm only 12 hours away. Drive here, park it here. It ain't going to freeze here.
There you go.
We introduce the cats to Panda. They get along.
And Brent, you fly.
You're good to go.
You fly.
And then you can fly, do your thing.
Fly to Washington, pick up my car.
Oh, there we go.
But then you still have to drive to the east. That car won't make it.
You're better off trying it in the van.
Yeah. Right? At least that's getting active love.
Yeah. Boy, oh boy, Brentley.
Yeah. I do it for the show.
Yeah, stay tuned next week, members, and we'll find out what happens.
Yeah.
We are still using the Texas tracker. You guys aren't going to be moving on it, obviously. But I'll be moving. I guess I have the entire continent to cross in the next week. So if you still want to pay attention, please do. Let me know how crazy I am.
Woo, my drive home was so brutal. I dropped Wes off, and then I continued up north through Seattle, and it was...
It should have just had you hang out with me for a while. Wait out traffic.
Because you know what it was is I just rolled with the traffic as it.
Yeah.
So it was. I took back roads where I could. I was using the optimization routing and stuff. But
I found when I did the math after you'd left, I found a route that involved a ferry that was equivalent timing. So that just tells you something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chris, this happens every single trip that we take.
I know.
We always end up coming back in Seattle's worst
it might just be there isn't a good time anymore because we came in at like 1.
If you wait till like 7 or 8 at night.
Yeah. That's the move.
Or Sunday morning. Today was actually surprisingly good. It was so good that I had to remind myself that we were no longer in Montana and that the speed limit was significantly less.
Careful there. Careful. So yeah, but back, got home in time to see the doggy because he was waiting for me home alone. And that means next week we're back to a regular production schedule.
Well, I'm just going to make a quick call to my launch. I haven't checked in since yesterday. 774-462-5667. That's it. All right. 774-462-5667. Call now.
Please do. Give the launch a call. Call the launch. So those of you running Drafting OS with the latest update may have noticed a new odd option about opting into security updates that haven't been fully disclosed yet. Graphene OS posted on X, our security preview releases provide early access to Android security bulletin patches prior to official disclosure. Our current security preview release provides the current revision of the November 2025 and December 2025 patches for the Android open source project. We recommend enabling this, which is a feature you'll get a notification about. They go on to say the only difference between our regular release and the security preview releases are the future Android security bulletin patches being applied with any conflicts resolved. The downside of the security preview release is we cannot provide the source for the patches until the official disclosure date.
So then you kind of got to just trust that they're getting like special access to apply the patches and then ship that. But in theory, they're just the upstream patches that Google's providing to vendors, or AOSP is rather.
That will eventually be.
Yeah, that will be released.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. The new security.
I saw this.
Yeah, go ahead, Brent.
I saw this yesterday because I did a series of updates.
Yeah, me too.
With some stable
I still
internet,
need to do
basically.
that.
I think we all did. We're like done with the trip, and we're like, time to update
It's
the
like-
phone.
Right. It took a surprising amount of time. But anyhow, I did see this and I was so torn because, yeah, I do want the latest security updates, but I also want them to be open source and for the graphene team to be able to vet them.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you guys would go, but I opted to just trust the graphene's team's recommendation on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it's,
but I
if we're
still
already
feel mixed.
we're opting out of the whole just getting like upstream blob droid shipped to our phones if we hadn't gone graphene. So it's not like we're going fully back there, even though this is maybe a slight tick if you do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I opted to turn it on as well just so I could kind of see how it goes. They, as a project, recommend you do it. If you don't trust their recommendations, why are you running Graphene OS, I suppose? But
Trust the giraffe.
it is odd, and it feels like another indication of just the direction things are going. I also understand they want to be able to ship security patches before they get exploited in the wild, and that means often before public disclosure.
Yeah.
That's the conflict here.
I appreciate the choice, right? Like you could see other projects maybe just kind of making the choice upstream and you get what you get. But here, you can toggle it yourself, which is great.
Yeah, there is that. So it's an interesting move. I'm gonna try it. If anything goes weird, I suppose I'll report back. Yep, the patches are in a private repo, and then I guess they're gonna flip them public. Android now gives OEMs 3 months early access, so in theory, 3 months after Giraffing OS ships them, we could probably expect public disclosure. The interesting
That's
thing
a
is,
long time.
We'll have like a little patch review party after that happens.
right, yeah, but you can measure these things. Giraffing OS is by far the first to ship these patches. The OEM Pixel OS phones haven't even gotten these patches yet. The team is just on it. So you have to give them that.
Yeah, you do.
Also, this is so awesome. I just love this kind of stuff. One more Giraffing OS thing. So I guess recently, in part of like a security patch update, in the Pixels, if you're using just the stock Pixel OS, in the October 2025 update, an undisclosed security fix broke the app that enables voice over LTE on Wi-Fi. You follow me?
Yeah, okay.
So an undisclosed security patch breaks calling over Wi-Fi, to say that simply. But the Graphene OS, folks, in the 2025 1030 release, have patched back in support for voice over Wi-Fi. And they say here, we've added, this is in the release notes, we've added support for force enabling VoLTE and VoNR and 5G for carriers where those aren't supported with the standard configurations. And then another release note they've added here that was a few weeks ago, quote, settings added support for forcing voice over Wi-Fi availability. So they've patched it back in.
You love it. Yeah. I mean, that's, you got to say, right? They're providing some pretty good service. There's some limitations. There's issues we run into, but all of this stuff, it weighs on the scale.
Yeah, I just really appreciate that. I just really appreciate the project, and I hope it can stick around because it is so great.
It's making this is such a much more viable platform for us.
Yeah. And it was the Pixel was so handy on the road trip because I was able to sideload an app that you can't even get on iOS right now. There's a test flight version, but they have 10,000 users, so screw you.
Right.
But I can just sideload. Actually, I just grabbed the APK using Obtainium, of course, right? That's how you do it. You really got to get this app, Brent. I mean,
I want it. I was feeling blind on my drive up,
right?
After being in your checked out.
I mean,
vehicle.
because so nothing surprises you because it's objects on the road, it's weather conditions, it's even speed enforcement airplanes, it's obviously speed traps, it's red light cameras, speed cameras. It's using crowdsourced information, plus you can also plug it into the Waze database, so you can overlay both bits of information into this thing.
That's impressive.
It'll do predictive weather. So if it kind of guesses, it shows you a little line of where you're going. and it will show you what the weather is going to be at when you arrive there so assuming your current speed, and it's just sort of always updating this. So it's when you get there, this is what the weather pattern will be, which was really great on our drive down as we were going through quite the storm.
Basically all rain.
Yeah, and it'd be good for you too if you wanted to avoid rain. You could see which routes have weather and all of that. Super.
You
great.
very kindly recommended this before our trip with hey, Brent, here's the manual, and if you got 30 minutes, it'd be worth doing this. And most of the time you're right, and then I just lag behind. But can you remind us the name of the app so that I can pick up my socks and get it
You
installed?
just had to ask
Do you
that.
remember the name? I can go get my phone. Hold on, I'll go get my phone because I don't remember.
Is it in the notes from that episode?
It did have a pretty sweet interface for sure. That with I don't know, a heat map of traffic and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
I thought, and it kind of had how would you categorize that interface? Like steampunkish feeling? Anyways,
I don't know about that steampunkish feeling.
Well, it's like dark mode with these matrix green colors and.
Oh,
I have not yet found it.
I thought you would have found it by the time I got back.
I thought so too, but
because I stopped to grab an emergency Red Bull, so I thought. I thought you'd probably find it by then. Okay, all right. So here it is. You ready? I got it for you.
Okay.
It is Highway Radar.
There we go.
Highway Radar. And I recommend getting it from the GitHub. I think it might be in the Play Store even. But to really make it sing, you will have to go find a library in the forums. Really easy. I probably did it in 2 minutes. And then you download that library on your phone and you add it to the app, and that plugs you in also to the Waze database. So now you're getting which is a very valuable source of information without having to give any identifying information to Google. It's the reason why they separate it because it's probably not a blessed use of the API because you're not providing any credentials or anything like that. But it works, and we had such incredible visibility on the drive. In part, that was one part, the app and other things, but I think I'm just going to drive with it all the time now. I just love it. Anyways, I guess enough with that. I'm sorry, but check it out. It is. I'm going to mention it again in case you missed it. It's definitely, if you drive a lot or if you have a lot of accidents or speed enforcement in your area, it's Highway Radar. It is on iOS, but you got to get in the test flight. Good luck with that. Works great, though, on the Paizo. Running Graphene. I'd almost consider, if I had baller money, Colonel was, before we started recording, was talking about how the 9A, brand new, is under $400 right now. It's on sale until the 15th or 14th of October. I mean, you could almost just see drafting a device like that and dedicating it to something like this. I tell you what, gosh darn it. But
I have to say, having a dedicated phone in the van for vehicle-related things.
Yeah.
So I've been using it primarily as a speedometer because, well, the built-in one has a personality, let's say.
Yeah.
But then having mapping applications, and then our tracker was on there, and I realized having, especially in that ancient van, but having some modern tech that is dedicated to just that one application, almost like a digital dashboard, such an amazing thing. And I think it's there to stay. Even if I fix that speedometer, that thing's staying.
Well, with Ubuntu coming up, of course, with the release, we're going to be just inherently a little bit more GNOME focused, but I thought we could take a moment here in the bootleg to talk about Plasma 6.5. Nate Graham describes this week's release as having a, quote, massive amount of stability work. And he highlights something interesting in here. The team focused on bug fixes, but they've fixed the number 2 and number 3 most common Plasma crashes. So they've knocked out a big chunk of instability users were seeing. The number 1 top crash has been tracked down. It turns out it's coming from a third-party plugin code. I think something maybe for the background of Plasma, something like that. The number 1 source of crashes.
I have a crash I'd like to highlight because does this sound like a Brent crash or no?
What's that?
Fixed a case where Plasma could crash when you tried to create a new folder inside a subfolder pop-up from a folder view widget or a folder on the desktop.
That is such a... Did you file that one, Brent? Was that you?
No, but I've 100% done that.
Yes, of course you have. That is such a nice catch. So that's really interesting. That's the number 1. You would think it's something to do with the compositor or driver.
Crazy technical issue, but
yeah. Plasma 6.5 kickoff power actions now work with Enter as well as Space. You know what I do on my Plasma desktops is I turn off the prompt. I really appreciate they let me do that. So in the menu, if I hit log out or reboot,
Just do it.
just does it. I mean, how often do you accidentally do that anyways? I don't even go to the menu that often.
I bet you like this one. Substantially reduced Kwin's CPU usage while playing full screen video.
I do. Also some improvements for the X-Wayland clipboard. Love to see that. The auto login plus K-Wallet empty password button works again. Hallelujah.
Yes.
Woo. Yeah, it's good. It's good over there. 6.5. Going to be a killer release right as I start running Cosmic. Spoiler. Great to see it. Love Nate's updates. Also appreciate that Michael covers them as well over at Phronix.
Yeah, you just get a lot of insight into what's cooking over in Plasma World. And as someone who's still rocking it to this day, I appreciate it.
And I think I just updated while we were gone over here because I'm doing the crazy Aurora still on Airmaster. And I rebooted this morning and came back and I noticed that my right-click menu looks a little different. And so checking live, it looks like I'm using Plasma 6.4.5. Okay, 6.4.5. I mean, that's fresh stuff. I like that I just reboot and I'm on the latest Plasma. That's pretty fun. Speaking of Michael Larable, he has a detailed piece over in Phronix where he expresses deep concern and I'd say disappointment over what he thinks is, and I agree, a shift in Intel's focus around their open source strategy. He labels it as a significant departure from the company's long-held reputation as a leader in the Linux space and broader open source in general. Over the last 2 decades, Larable notes that Intel's contribution to Linux, the kernel, the toolchains, the drivers, the user space projects, they've not only been consistent, but they've been fundamentally instrumental in advancing open source software. Larable also notes that Intel's stellar software support often compensated for its hardware missteps, earning the trust of loyalty and many Linux users. However, there has been a noticeable shift that has occurred following the company's restructuring and layoffs, resulting in a significant loss of open source engineering talent. Side note, this was a topic at Texas Linux Fest as well. People were concerned about the layoffs at Intel, and this also came up on our trip to System 76 as well. So it seems like it's being felt. Michael continues, several Intel-maintained Linux drivers and projects have become orphaned or discontinued, including Clear Linux, which was regarded as for its top-tier performance. But what seems to have really hit him is he was at a tech tour in Arizona, and Intel's GM of Data Center Group was there, and EVP of Data Center Group, and he had some comments that essentially said, everyone else has been taking and running with our code, and saying that they have been getting taken advantage of with their open source contributions, and that in the future it needs to be focused and emphasize that Intel needs to benefit from those contributions. And there's statements in there that are kind of, well, I agree with Larble. They're alarming statements because they really kind of miss the mark. Here's a quote from one of them. Quote, "We need to find a balance where we use our open source software as an advantage to Intel and not let everyone else take it and run with it." He also says, quote, "We are very proud of our open source contributions. We're going to keep doing that. However, like I mentioned, I want to make sure that it gives us an edge against everyone else."
Yeah, Michael goes on to say in his analysis that I don't even understand why these statements were made. Open source software didn't even need to be brought up in the context of announcing Xeon 6 Plus and Clearwater Forest. So it just kind of makes you like, this was something it sounds like Intel really wanted to get out there.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it.
Which makes it even more concerning.
It is very concerning. They're in a bad way. I just wonder if, as Linux users, we need to prepare for an AMD future if you want to be on the x86 platform.
And, it's something we've talked about in Veered and just, lauded Intel's great work over the last decade and just how frequently we find ourselves as an open source community dependent on various companies, and tides change in the market.
Couple of things here. So Michael wraps up. I am saddened by this apparent Intel shift as it pertains to open source software. At the very least, there will simply be less open source contributions from Intel given their reduced engineering resources. But at worst, a former open source prince now more hostile towards open source if it means potentially helping a competitor. This goes against the conventional open source ethos and Intel's open source practices over the past many years of greatly enriching open source ecosystem. Another statement from Intel. So I think Larbel heard back from Intel. He says, I'm assuming probably via email. I talked with several Intel representatives at the Arizona event and being shocked by these comments. 8 days later, and less than 24 hours prior to the embargo lift, I received a follow-up statement from Intel on the matter. And here's the quote. Intel remains deeply committed to open source. We're sharpening our focus on where and how we contribute, ensuring our efforts not only reinforce the communities we've supported for decades, but also highlight the unique strengths of Intel. Open source is a strategic focus designed to deliver greater value to our customers, partners, and the broader ecosystem. Kind of sounds like the same thing, just said in a lot more businessy way.
Yeah, and vague. I mean, sharpening our focus. What does that mean? I guess we just kind of have to wait and see, but so far, not great.
I tend to trust Larbel's gut on this as well.
Yeah, I mean, he follows it very closely.
You hate to see it. Well, something we'll keep our eye on, too, because they're very important in this space. Thankfully, AMD has been hiring recently, so, perhaps there is some advantage, some opportunity over there, but yeah. Okay, gentlemen, I think do we have any other things we want to cover before we...
No, I don't think so. Although I think our dear Mr. Brentley would like it.
He needs a break. I always does. I already planned one in.
Yeah, well, I'm down for a little.
I planned one in, so.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's how I figured. All right, gentlemen. Well, then, we'll do a quick intermission, and then we'll come back with the main show, which is a lot more, including our trip to System 76, where we got some inside scoops on the Cosmic Desktop.
Where in the world is that Brentley? Well, he sneaks around the world from Cranbrook to Cottbus, searching high and low across land and sea, from mountain peaks to desert sand. Brentley's on the run in some far-off land. Where in the world is Brentley? A mystery to solve, a game to play. Where in the world is Brentley? We'll track him down, come what may. Is he in Paris, Tokyo, Rome? Following clues to find his home. With wit and skill, we'll crack the case and bring back Brentley to this place. Well, he sneaks around the world from Cranbrook to Cottbus, searching high and low across land and sea, from mountain peaks to desert sand. Brentley's on the run in some far-off land. Brentley's on the run in some far-off land. Brentley's on the run in some far-off land. Where lives Brentley? A mystery to solve, a game to play. Where in the world is Brentley? We'll track him down, come what may. Was he in Paris, Tokyo, Rome? Following clues to find his home. With wit and skill, we'll crack the case and bring back Brentley to this place. Where lives Brentley? Come what may. Is he in Paris, Tokyo, Rome? Following clues to find his home. With wit and skill, we'll crack the case and bring back Brentley to this place. Bring back Brentley to this place.
Well, I'm just gonna make a quick call to my launch. I haven't checked in since yesterday. 774-462-5667. That's it. All right, 774-462-5667. Call now.
Yes, it is hammer time.
So we had kind of a semi-successful bit chat usage. We had, I think the best implementation or the best scenario where bit chat was used on our Texas Linux Fest trip was during the keynote. And there's only like 6 or 7 of us in the room, but we were basically, we had a live mesh Bluetooth chat going during Dustin's keynote, which was pretty cool. And there were some people sitting right behind, I'm right behind you, that kind of thing. It was kind of useful at lunch as well. Is this the right place? That kind of thing. Did we have anybody hit us up on our way down? Did we end up?
Brian, I believe, who met us at the gas station,
Right, well, he
tried to.
But I think
that was our fail on not receiving it.
Right. We didn't get like in the right room or something. Yeah, we messed that one up. But it worked pretty good once we got down there. It just wasn't heavily used. But I could see it using it at every fest.
There is a lot of promise.
I loved it during the keynote. I thought that was a lot of fun. Just sort of like live chatting about it. Hey, it's your bar. How was the drive up? You do okay? How's Char doing? Doing all right?
She's doing all right down there.
Good. Okay.
Got to help a neighbor with some electrical. You guys have a good show.
Well, thanks for
bye,
joining.
Jeff. Miss
Good
you
luck.
already.
Be safe.
Take care.
Give him a little eagle send-off. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Came home and we got like a mess of ducks. Just a mess of ducks because maybe the rain, so maybe they don't fly during the rain. You ever wonder where ducks go when the weather's bad?
They hang out with you?
They go to ponds. They go to ponds. And this pond we have has a couple of decoy ducks on there because this used to be, pretty heavily hunted area. And they work.
They just hang out with the decoys.
Yeah, they see the decoys and they think, that must be safe.
Must be a nice spot.
And
they
so
got.
when I got home, there was probably 50 ducks on the pond. Maybe more. And then like something happens and they all take off in a big wave. And then they come back. And blue herons and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, welcome to Bird Brag with Chris Fisher.
Right then, let's get ourselves settled in for a wee deep dive.
yeah, let's do it. Let's do a deep dive on birds, Wes. What do you say?
I think so. Radically change the structure and nature of the show. Brent won't be surprised because he did not prepare for that.
Now, what do we have anything new for the Nebula? I thought we did. So, I'm going to play our chat with the crew at System 76 in line. Brantley, do we hear you okay? Do we have audio from you?
I think we do.
So just as our drive there, because the thing is, what the crap? Stop it.
We're having technical difficulties.
So before the show, I was playing a clip of Linux Action Show of the Ubuntu 10.10 review.
Linux Action Show.
Right. It's our Ubuntu 10.10 review that was recorded on October 10th, 2010 at 10 a.m. And the audio is horrible, but it's fun to look to see where Ubuntu was back then. But you know what I noticed? Same microphone arm. Same from 2010.
I think you deserve an upgrade.
I feel like I got a lot of money out of this old Heil microphone arm.
Yeah.
I've gotten my money out of this thing.
And it's appeared on mic multiple times.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, all right. So we're just going to tell the whole story, and we end with coming here to talk to John. And then we talk to John. See, it's real easy.
I love it.
It's real easy. So don't screw it up, Brent. Okay?
I like to throw in a couple of curveballs from time to time.
Now, should I do the start marker, you think, for this part?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Why not? Yeah.
Yeah, why not, right? What could go wrong? Okay, Brent,
Won't delete all the WAV files.
Are you ready to record handsome?
Sure am.
Are you ready to record handsomely, though? Yeah, you are.
That's for you to decide.
I think you're pretty gosh darn handsome.
Maybe a little eyeliner.
Yeah, all right. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, record. Hello, Drew.
Hey, Drewski.
Drew, we're going to have...
like we just saw him.
We're going to have an interview for you later in the show that's pre-recorded. All right, let's jump in at 4, everybody. 1, 2, 3, 4.
4.
Oh, pretty good.
Oh, sorry, Mumble. Let's do it again. I didn't have Mumble. I want Mumble in there. 1, 2, 3, 4.
4.
Nice, thank you. Definitely got Mumble that time.
Yes, we did.
All right, let's do this here show. I guess we don't have the Matrix chat, so if you want to give us a suggestion, obviously we could name them off in the Mumble room afterwards, or you could always pop them off in our JB Telegram group, something like that. It's probably the best ways. I don't know.
Live boost them in if you want.
Yeah, there you go. Live. Why didn't I? That's what I should have said. And that'd be great. Okay, here we go, gentlemen. In 3, 2. Hello, friends, and welcome back to your weekly Linux talk show. My name is Chris.
My name is Wes.
And my name is Brent.
Hello, gentlemen. Coming up on the show this week, it was a race against time to leave Texas Linux Fest. We had a date at System 76 to get the inside scoop on the Cosmic desktop and its future. And then we had a chance to chat with Jon Seager, the VP of Engineering at Canonical, fresh off the 2510 release, but we had to make it back to the studio in time for our live chat. We'll tell you all about that and how it went and play those chats. And then we'll round out the show with some great boosts, some picks, and a lot more. So before we get there, let's say time-appropriate greetings to our live virtual lug. Hello, Mumble Room.
Hey, Chris. Hey, Russ. And hello, Brent.
Hello. Hola, bienvenidos.
Hello. You know, if you want to join our Mumble Room, if you're listening out there, it's pretty fun. It's got a live vibe. Details are jupiterbroadcasting.com/mumble. It's an open invite. We'll have a conversation with anyone. We have an open Mumble Room. We just check your mic to make sure everything's sounding good enough to go on air. And then you can come in and chat with us during the show even, or during the pre and post show, which is generally when the Mumble Room is really going. And it's a lot of fun. That's jupiterbroadcasting.com/mumble. And a big good morning to our friends at Defined Networking. Go to defined.net/unplugged. Check out Managed Nebula. It's a decentralized VPN built on the amazing Nebula platform that Wes and I are huge fans of, and we're going to convert Brent soon.
Oh, yeah.
We're coming for you, Brent.
Watch out, Moose.
Yeah,
I'm open to it.
I know you are. I'm just teasing. Unlike traditional VPNs, Nebula has a decentralized design, so your network is resilient. If you manage it yourself for your enterprise, for a home lab, or maybe even a global enterprise, or you can take advantage of their totally managed product with 100 devices totally free when you go to define.net/unplugged. Nebula is really something special. It was originally developed in 2017 to securely connect Slack's global infrastructure. I mean, I'm talking all over the world, everybody's data, some of the most important companies in the world, has to be rock solid and secure. It had to meet those goals, that flexibility, that decentralization, that security from day one. That was 2017. That's where we were at in 2017. It has grown incredibly. Now we have the managed product, clients for end users, and Rivians on the highway are running Nebula. I mean, I'm talking industrial grade stuff. And if you want to, you can completely own the entire stack. Or you can take advantage for your friends, your family, yourself, of their totally managed product with 100 hosts, absolutely free, no credit card required. Go check it out. Go to defined.net/unplugged. Redefine your VPN experience and check out Nebula. Define.net/unplugged. Well, we have made it back from our escape from Texas, so I guess not to spoil it, but we did make it. And it was such a great trip. And before we get into the story and our trip to Denver to chat with the System 76 crew, I want to just share the team's gratitude to our audience who made this possible. You got us down there and you got us back, and we didn't have any incidents. Nobody blew out a tire. Nobody got a ticket. There was no fender bender. I mean, do you know the numbers, Wes, what we drove collectively? I mean, we drove collectively a ton of miles.
Oh, yeah. Oh, here. Well, we've got them live up there if you just want the miles on the tracker.
Oh, yeah, right. Texas Tracker's still live because Brent's actually still on the road.
That's right. So you and I, Team Bigfoot, we drove a total path distance of 4,732 miles. And Moose there, who's not done yet, is at 3,416.
It's really awesome. We had a chance to connect with a great community down there, but then it wasn't even initially on our plan, but because we were working for the audience and not a particular sponsor, we were able to do a last-minute schedule with System 76 to swing by and get a hands-on demonstration of the latest and greatest with Cosmic. I just want to underscore, not only did it mean that our entire intention was always just to create great content for you, but we had a kind of flexibility that I just don't think would have been there. And so we got to do something really special, and it meant we were on a very tight timeline. Okay, so the goal was to be out by 9:30. It's 9:29 a.m.
Oh, we're doing pretty good.
What are you doing right now?
Well, I got to unplug the van and put the solar panel in the back.
I noticed your bags aren't loaded either.
Well, I staged them beside the van.
Probably got to feed the kitties a little bit of food.
Well, they are jumping around like they want some food.
Yeah.
I
don't know about you, Wes, but I'm kind of ready to go.
Yeah, let's hit the road. We got miles to go today.
Jerks.
You and I had it down at this point.
Yeah, well practiced, I think.
Yeah. And to be fair, Brent has a little bit more to take care of.
We were doing lean and mean, and that was definitely an advantage for us.
Brent's got animals to take care of, a van to take care of, and a Brent to take care of.
It was clear in that moment the difference between the types of trips we had up to this point, because I was, let's say, meandering my way to Texas, and very happily so, and you guys were just jetting down there. And this is the collision of those two philosophies, and it was clear that we were going to have to figure it out.
And just as we're ready to go, I mean really ready to go, Brent informs us that he's had a little issue that he hasn't told us about. You got a loose belt?
I think so. Maybe.
I don't hear anything.
No, it's only when I really give it gas.
When you give it the onions?
Yeah, like if I'm pulling out of a parking lot or trying to pass you. So maybe.
Just when the engine's really revved?
Yeah, maybe I'll go in there and give
you want to rev on
a
it?
couple kicks and you could...
Well, if I were to guess, I would say alternator.
Oh, no.
Because it's coming from the bottom corner. This was a theme for the day. This should have been our indication of how the day was going to go, because we didn't want to push the van too hard. We weren't in a particular tight time crunch for that day because we just had to get from Austin to Amarillo. So we had, only a 7-hour drive day. So we thought maybe we would make it in decent time, get to Amarillo, do some grocery shopping, stock the Airbnb. That's not exactly how things went. Yeah, we just hit 80,000 miles on the car. All right, so we've been driving for 395 miles, 6 hours and 44 minutes. We're at the 4th O'Reilly of the day.
Hey, one of those was an AutoZone.
We're going to go with Brent, and we're going to get a alternator that he doesn't need. And then we'll be on our way to the Airbnb. Definitely moving a bit slower today. We did ultimately get there, and Brent did get his alternator.
Oh, yeah.
Which I'm kind of in favor of now.
Well, okay, because you never express in real time that I certainly didn't need it. It was like community voting, all of us, but you seem to just go with the crazy.
Well, I was like, it's a belt. I think it's a belt first and foremost, and if there's another issue because of that, then we'll deal with that. But I was like, really, it's just a belt problem. But you got a better unit, so when you do get it installed, I actually think you're going to be better off. And we did get to our Airbnb. Nothing really stands out to me about that one. They all kind of have, I don't know about you guys, but they all kind of just merged together as one meta Airbnb.
Well, there was one I don't think we could forget.
Well, yeah. Yeah, the one where we had somebody else's stuff in there.
Oh, no. Okay, two. No, the one where you didn't really fit in the shower.
Oh, that was this Airbnb, wasn't it?
Yeah. No, it was the Denver one.
It was multiple. Oh, yeah. Oh, right. It was multiple. Guys, not one of our Airbnbs had a functional bathroom for me. Not one of them. They all had something weird. I don't know what's going on with Airbnbs and bathrooms. But we got there the next morning. It was time to set off because we needed to get to Denver. This is where the timeline got tight because Carl, the CEO of System 76, had scheduled himself a work-from-home week. And he came in gracefully because we were coming into town, as well as so had Jeremy Soller. And so they both came in and scheduled to come into the office because we were going to be there to help, give this presentation. And so we really wanted to make it on time because we were kind of taking from their planned work from home week. And I didn't intend for that to happen.
No, we just thought, we're happy to be here. Maybe something will work out. And that was very gracious of them.
But we're like, okay, we're in Amarillo, but we need to be there tomorrow by 10 a.m. Oh, I wouldn't call it fixed.
No.
I'd call it
mildly improved. Not even.
No, but we may have fixed on a leak on the radiator.
Yeah, that was easy.
Unrelated. So that's a win.
Yay.
We'll stack that. When we get down the road a little bit because we got to get the hell out of this Airbnb and see how it does. We'll check on her.
I'm worried.
Well, this is the ultimate test. I mean, you're really pushing all the components: long duration driving, heat, miles and miles. I mean, this is it, right? This is if things are going to break or crack.
You're talking about just getting it over to O'Reilly's?
God. Oh, man. Well, we did it. And I do remember this. So we have a process, right? We get to an Airbnb, and within minutes, we try to get the Wi-Fi set up. We try to get streaming set up. We try to get Star Trek going on the main screen.
Yeah, time to start Star Trek. That's our standard Airbnb metric.
Yeah, and it is an interesting one because it's like you got to get the network stood up. You got to get a device working. You got to get a client device paired with that.
And what's the TV setup, right? Can you use the tech that's there? Do you have to inject your own? How accessible is it?
And every time we do this, we kind of like refine this idea of this ultimate tiny Linux box that has HDMI that boots right into a Kodi that just immediately starts randomly playing Star Trek and sets up an AP that all our devices connect to. Like we've been We have been iterating on this idea, so if you have any suggestions for a device like that, please do boost them in or send us an email at linuxunplugged.com/contact, because we want to build something when we get to an Airbnb that's like a little Linux router /Kodi box /Wi-Fi AP repeater. Also Nebula device. That's what we're going for. But it is, this Airbnb we arrived at turned out to be in somebody's basement, which we didn't expect. And so I also did not fit in that. I'm not a particularly tall guy. I think 5'11", if that's, it's like not that unusual. But yeah, it wasn't ideal, but we made it to System 76 on time. Wes and I are just outside the System 76 office, waiting for Brent to feed his cats and get the audio interface that he forgot in the van somewhere. So we're kind of on time. We're on Brent time, that's for sure.
There's no escaping Brent time. But his cats are so cute.
Hey, what?
What are you guys doing over here?
Nothing, just waiting for you, buddy.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Okay. And we got there, and we show up. Every time we go, they've changed so much. They've expanded.
Oh yeah.
Rearranged the office, so it's a new entrance.
Bunch of new tech. Bunch of new people. It just changes all the time.
A lot more lasers. There's a lot of lasers now.
Big lasers.
We got there. It was great to see Carl. He gave us a tour of all the new stuff and some things they're working on. And it was also the day they were releasing the new Oryx, so that was kind of exciting. And then we sat down with him and Jeremy in an office space to try to just get the state of Cosmic, because they're getting really close right now, but there's still some things that are missing. But there's also a lot of stuff regarding Cosmic that people have not discussed, including some features that have recently been added that they touch on in our chat here that are just blow away cool. We just had a great tour. Carl gave us a tour of the factory to kind of get an update on everything, but we're really here to get an update on Cosmic, because the last time we chatted about it, it was early alpha. It must have been like at a Linux Fest or something. It was a while ago, and I think things have come a lot further.
Yeah, I think that was Linux Fest Northwest. And is it Big Bertha? Is it in Bellingham? But no, it was in the RV. Jupes.
Right, you came in Lady Jupes and gave us a demo. Yeah.
Right. So, at that point, I think we were talking about where Cosmic was. The talk I was giving was on apps because of my second time around at Linux Fest Northwest. I want to do some new content. So Jeremy actually did a lot of the work on the apps, and I wanted to highlight how unique they are, because there's a lot of features that you just don't get in a lot of desktop apps on Linux.
So we've been kind of looking at a couple of things just before we started recording, but as things like fancy background switching for users at greeters, and so it looks like we're getting to the polish aspect of Cosmic now.
Yeah, there's a long gap between Alpha 7, which was in April, and our beta release at the end of September. It was, I guess that's 6 months or something like that, 5 months. And after the Alpha 7, one of the reasons that we did alphas frequently was because we kept getting the same bugs over and over again, even though they had been resolved. So unless we were tagging releases and those were being adopted, that's because Cosmic's packaged for Arch and Fedora and OpenSUSE and things like that. So unless we were tagging frequently, just the triage and the amount of effort to go through things that had already been solved was pretty high. But Alpha 7 was kind of a point where things improved considerably at that point, and so we didn't get a lot of issues afterwards, and there were unique ones that came after that. So the beta release marked that point where all the features, or by and large all the features, are in, and now we're working on smaller bug fixes and polish for the final release.
Jeremy's here too, and I wonder, Jeremy, if you have any comments on sort of just the state of the system and where it's at from a code development standpoint, stability, things like that.
Yeah, sure. So as Carl said, we nailed down most of the new features already, except for a whole bunch of things that we're adding. Like the Cosmic Store needs to have Flatpak add-ons. We're doing printing support in Cosmic Edit, which is more nuts than I thought it would be. But in general, the system's pretty stable, and we're just working through the backlog of issues that people have reported during the alpha and beta phase and trying to fix them all before RC. And we actually started shipping a unit with the Cosmic Beta. So the Oryx Pro with the codename ORIP 13 is an AMD and NVIDIA hybrid system. And it turns out that it works best in Cosmic because of the way that Cosmic handles hybrid graphics.
Right, so and the Oryx Pro has just been released today. It's October 8th. So it's a brand new product with Strix Point CPU, NVIDIA 5070 graphics. And what's really unique about the Strix Point is that the VGA, or the controller, the integrated GPU, is not VGA compatible, meaning that it requires Wayland because it will not work with X11 because it's not a VGA compatible GPU. So as we were working through the product, like Ubuntu 2404, if you run it on X11, the discrete GPU is always on because the X11 can't use the integrated GPU. In Wayland, that does work correctly. And so when we're shipping Ubuntu 2404, we're also shipping that with Wayland on that product. And we weren't going to go back to 2204 for POP and find out what the Wayland state was there when we have this brand new desktop that's really close and, frankly, at this point, a better product than what we're shipping with 2204. So with the Oryx becomes our first product to ship with Cosmic, one by necessity and also because we think we're shipping a better product to our customers.
That's a pretty big milestone. So we're gonna kind of play with things off mic, but I'm curious because you guys have been kind of running this the longest out of almost anybody on the internet. What are people missing when it comes to what's great about using Cosmic? Like when you hear people discussing Cosmic and arguing Plasma versus GNOME and Cosmic, what's the thing that people are missing?
The highlight of Cosmic is that it adapts to whatever your workflow happens to be, and it has all this ability to do that, but none of it feels overwhelming. It all feels natural. It's easy to get in the weeds. And sometimes I think people use Cosmic and they say, well, there's not like a lot of new things in here. But I think it's because the design is just so good that when you get to using it and moving things around, it just all works. And it just feels so simple and natural that the innovation is taking all these advanced concepts and making them that approachable to every single user. So you don't have to be an engineer to take advantage of tiling, or to theme your system and make it look exactly the way you want it to look. You can go in and, without being overwhelmed by a whole bunch of settings, click a few things, and then you have a dramatically different workflow or experience based on what feels right to you. And it's so easy to switch between different styles of using Cosmic, whether you want to launch apps with the launcher and switch between them, or if you want to use the application library, or if you prefer to use workspaces or not use workspaces, or use tiling, or use a hybrid, tiling and some, maybe tiling on your external display and floating on your laptop display. Whatever fits right for you, it's just very easy and natural to set it up and to try different things. And to me, there's kind of three things in addition to that. What we're trying to make, or what Cosmic does, is make computing fun and productive and personal. And I don't know, it kind of takes some effort to make computing fun. We spend so much time on our computers. They should be fun to spend time at. I mean, we're at them for hours. And so for me, fun is customizing my theme, changing my layout, trying different things. I enjoy doing this stuff. For other people, it's gaming. So we want to make sure gaming's fantastic. For other people, what might matter the most is I don't have to click 4 things to log out. In Cosmic, you just click the button, click log out. It's like everything is a shorter path to what you need in Cosmic than a lot of other operating system experiences.
Jeremy, I'm curious if you have anything to add on what people are missing when they're comparing the different desktop environments today and they're thinking about Cosmic, or they're comparing Cosmic to Plasma or GNOME or things like that.
Well, one thing I think I see as missing is people judge Cosmic based on its current state when they should be looking forwards to the future. Every release that we do, we will have a feature cycle where we build up a large number of features. And I don't think we've ever told anybody no. We just say, no, this is not how we want to do it, but we will try to adjust to that use case. And there's so many cases where, like, when I think about all the accessibility work we did, that was really one where we had to toe the line between how do we make sure everything is there for every person who could potentially use this product and every potential issue they may have with the product, but still make the default experience good for the largest number of people. And that's what I wish people would consider is how would you see this modular desktop environment evolve into the future rather than judging it by how it is right now.
Also, add to that, when you have an established customer base and user base like Pop! OS has and System 76 has, it's not like starting from scratch with no users and building something new. You have a responsibility to what their experience already has been and what their experience is going to be when you deliver something new to them. And so when we're building Cosmic, we're building a platform that's going to be familiar to them. But once you get into Cosmic, you realize that this platform, because of the way it can be composed and the way it's modular, it can actually become anything that you want it to be. And that's, I think, what will be its key feature and what people will really appreciate long term is I see folks say, it looks like Mac, it looks like GNOME, it looks like KDE, it looks like this. Exactly. It does. It can look like any one of those. And to get that layout that you really enjoy and that you prefer to use, it's just so simple that you can just lay it out the way you want. So yeah, it's just unique in that way.
I guess I'm sort of surprised. We've been talking, and the architecture hasn't come up. Rust hasn't come up. The way the system settings are stored, which is kind of different and unique, hasn't come up. Jeremy, can you touch on some of that for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So we try as much as possible to keep things modular. And this is another thing where I want to see it evolve over time. Like, we just added third-party applets into the Cosmic Store, so you can go in. These are things that anybody can make, and they're securely added to the panel because they're flat packs and they're sandboxed. So every applet that you get from the applet store, you can add to the panel. You can create docks and panels anywhere you want on the system, on any display, any number. And Carl is laughing right now.
I would definitely have too many. I'll be that guy. I admit it.
You'd have the 1990s browser toolbar kind of look. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And so the ability to have every single one of those be a separate process and be in its own sandbox means that they can be written in any language. So the Rust aspect of Cosmic actually doesn't matter as much as people want it to be, especially now that Rust has become like a political statement somehow. I don't care. I have my own politics, but Rust is just a programming language, and the purpose of it is to drive memory safety. And the reason we're using it is because it allows us to say these types of bugs cannot exist in safe Rust code. And so long as we're writing safe Rust code, then we eliminate those bugs, or at least reduce the prevalence of bugs overall in the entire desktop environment. The config mechanism is another interesting part of it. It's one that was driven by portability and modularity. It's how can we make it so that the same config mechanism could be used by Cosmic apps regardless of what operating system they're running on. So they're running on Windows, Mac OS, Linux, BSD, it doesn't matter. They don't need a third-party service to exist. They don't need a daemon setup. They don't need dconf to exist. They just need to be able to write to files. And so we have a flat file format where they just write out in the Rust object notation format to those files, and you can manage those files in a Git repository if you'd like to, or in any way you want to sync files between systems. And you can diff those files very easily. They're all plain text. And another thing that we've done is to ensure that all the state is separated out from the config. And what I mean by state is if you're in KDE and you're trying to manage your config files, you might, for instance, notice that the size of every console window is stored. The last window size is stored in the same config file that saves things like your keyboard shortcuts for the console application. So we've separated those kinds of things out. Recent files would be stored in state, versus the theme settings would be stored in config. And that ensures that you're able to sync those config settings without bringing over state that doesn't necessarily apply between computers.
Yeah, and it's. I think that extends to our lack of requirement for systemd as well. The portability means that Cosmic will be a great desktop for BSDs. It works on Redux, and so we try to make decisions that don't eliminate its use in other platforms.
Yeah, I'm just curious. How has it been? It seems like Cosmic's spreading its wings to a lot of other platforms and distributions. Have you gotten good feedback from people trying to package it?
I've gotten feedback, and it may be anecdotal, that this is the easiest desktop environment to port to package overall. So there were a few hiccups with Rust in the start. Like Fedora wanted to bundle all the Rust, take all the Rust dependencies and turn them into dynamic libraries. But then they changed their mind, and now they're allowing those to be compiled by Cargo, just the native Rust build system. And so, yeah, it's spread across to Arch, to OpenSUSE, Nix, to Alpine, to Fedora, and onwards, because it is very easy to port, and it has very limited dependencies on the system.
All right, well, I'm just looking forward to playing around with it. Thanks, guys. Yeah, really. Big thank you to everyone over at System 76 for making time on our last-minute scheduled stop. And I'm going to give it a go. I walked away pretty impressed. One of the things that impressed me the most is the way they've implemented applets. And that's, to me, a massive innovation in the desktop space. Is essentially any Flatpak app with the right dimensions, it's a Wayland application.
Yeah, as long as it can draw a window on the screen and it has the right interfaces, it'll work.
You can make it an applet. And the massive ramification of that is all the dependencies, your language, all of that's handled by, the Flatpak. But it also means if the desktop updates, your extensions are, unless something changes in the XDG portals, your extensions aren't going to break. It's a brilliant, genius way to do extensions on a desktop that works with a desktop that might be a quasi-rolling on some systems.
Yeah, stay tuned. We'll see if we can get Chris to vibe code in a little extension.
So I've been running Plasma, in Aurora here on my main machine in the studio, and I think we're going to nix Cosmic it up. And I'm going to give Cosmic a go on this, see if I can kind of replicate a workflow I really like in the studio with it. I was just really impressed. Anything stand out to you, gentlemen, about Cosmic?
Yeah, I mean, I still really want to sit and live with it for a while to give it a proper test, of course. But yeah, just, watching Carl use his Cosmic, watching him kind of live tweak it and change it in front of us he wasn't even really sitting in front of a proper workstation environment. He was kind of having to, show us the screen and tweak things as part of the presentation. So if you can do it in that environment, it seems like now we have this lean, mean, portable, flexible environment. So even if it doesn't end up maybe being your daily driver on every machine, it seems like a very useful tool that you can kind of take with you.
For me, I was really impressed by their dedication to build, the design of the architecture on the back end. And they specifically said, we're trying to make production software. And so we want to do it right, even if it takes longer. And I think that philosophy is really playing out in a nice way now with Cosmic, coming into beta and us getting that behind the scenes look of how it's built. And that also means they've been working really closely with a bunch of upstream that I found really impressive and is just making our Linux ecosystem better overall. So I was really impressed by all of that.
I think, too, one of the things that I took away from it is there's components that people might end up using even if they don't use the entire Cosmic desktop. So on Hyperland, you don't really have a file manager. You get to pick and choose. And one of the things I experimented with is I installed the Cosmic File Manager because it doesn't require nearly as much as, say, Dolphin or Files does from GNOME. And it worked really well. So there's components they're working on here that are pretty portable. But as you also heard Carl say, they don't have a systemd dependency, not as a political statement, but just as a function of how they've built it, which means perhaps this will be available for desktops that want a modern desktop that don't have systemd in the distro, or maybe one of the BSDs out there that obviously won't have systemd. And so that's kind of encouraging that way because it has some potential audience that maybe modern GNOME and Plasma are leaving behind.
I have to say I was also really quite impressed by just how many resources they're putting to the desktop. They mentioned 10 people working on Cosmic full time. including QA, of course. And specifically, Carl said, well, we actually like that to be like 3 or 4 times that size in the future. And so they're really dedicating to this desktop, which is, really impressive.
Yeah.
And I love, too, that their philosophy towards a rolling release desktop. You mentioned that a couple times. And the idea that the desktop can be decoupled from the distro, and that's the way they're building it even for Pop! OS. It was a really interesting concept, and I think has a lot of really interesting benefits.
So I'll give it a go and report back in the future after I've had some time with Cosmic. And before we even got out of the parking lot at System 76, our good buddy Editor Drew showed up for a quick reunite while we were in town. And, I think we'll get into what happened afterwards later.
Look who it is, boys.
Hey, is that Drew?
It's that guy who makes us not sound like shit.
Hey.
Hi.
Hello. Hello. Good to see you.
It's here.
It's been like 2 years, 3 years, 8 years?
We saw him for...
4.
No, less for you, because we were here for Denver like 2 years ago.
Oh, right, yeah, for the Red Hats.
It wasn't, we didn't see you much. It was like,
Still looking handsome as ever.
yeah,
Thank you,
yeah, he's looking
All
great.
right,
What do you got there?
That's for you, right?
Oh, it's a DC to DC charger.
Hey.
Sounds like one.
There you go.
After your alternator, you got a whole new project.
Should we open it? That's very exciting. You need this.
Just to get you to stop bugging him to buy it.
great, Brent.
Huh?
Yeah.
It looks like it's in great shape.
Oh, and I have
It really does.
Yeah, that's great.
Has this thing even been used?
No, it looks beautiful.
Yeah, it looks brand
It's half
new.
the price of everything else.
Shit.
Assuming
That's
it works, I think
Yeah.
it might be okay.
awesome. Yeah.
Good.
There you go.
I'm going blue.
I mean, look how clean it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, no
We
kidding.
gotta get it dirty quick.
Yeah, seriously, that looks like that's never been used. I mean, look at the labels.
The person selling it only had one other eBay item,
Yeah.
which was like a Louis Vuitton super high-end purse. So I was
That's not
banking
their
on the
normal
fact
thing.
they didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, what do you think of the van? This is your first time seeing it in person, right?
It is, yeah.
What do you think?
It's a van.
Can we get more descriptors?
A little bit of rust.
Yeah.
It's
It's a vibe.
No, I mean, you know, it's an old Ram, you know.
It's an old Ram, he says. So just a quick side. Again, I'm so grateful to the audience for making this trip possible. It gave us a chance to reunite with Drew, which is always really good to just reconnect. And Brent then began to work his magic. He gave Drew the tour of the van, so we captured Editor Drew's post-van tour impressions to see if they improved.
So now that you've had the full tour, what's the refined opinion?
Dude, it's awesome.
Really? You get him? Yes. You got him to come around.
I mean, you know, I kind of figured it would be one of those things where, like, you're looking at it from the outside and it doesn't look like much. It looks like a 30-year-old van. But then you get inside and it's like, hey, look at this. This thing's cool. This thing's cool. This thing's cool.
Every direction you look, there's something cool.
There's something weird. It's just, it's awesome.
So you got him. You turned him around, Brent. Good job.
Well, thank you. I was a little, I gotta say, underwhelmed by his initial reaction. I was like, this won't do. We got to work harder here. And sure enough, I got him with the Home Assistant in the cupboard there. He's like, what? How do you fit that in there? And he's really impressed. So thanks, Drew.
Yes, it was really great to see you, Drew. Wes and I, however, we had to roll. We still had 22 hours to get it back to the studio, which meant driving through most of Montana, most of Wyoming, and, of course, all of Idaho and Washington. We really had to put down, like, significant miles. And when we left, it was a little sad. Okay, Wes and I are in my car. We are leaving Brent behind with Drew. So I think we'll be out of Denver probably in the next 2 hours or so because traffic's pretty bad. So an hour or so. How long do you think until Brent's out of Denver?
Well, he's about to go to lunch or really dinner at this point with Drew. Is he going to leave Denver at like 8 p.m. at night? Probably not. So that's at least tomorrow. But, we ended up fixing on his brakes instead of fixing on his belts or his alternator, which he also has a new one. And, maybe
he gets working on that. I think he doesn't leave till tomorrow.
I'm betting Friday.
Okay, Brent's survey says.
Well, yeah, Drew and I had an amazing time together. We went and, sushi and sake and like lots of chats and stuff. And then I was like, I may as well just stay overnight. But I didn't really have a plan for that. So I have to say thank you to System 76 for letting me sleep in their parking lot. Really nice parking lot, I gotta say, nice and quiet, other than the loudspeaker that comes on at 5:30 in the morning and says, "Hey, you're being recorded on video." So highly recommended. They were kind enough to not bother me in the morning. And so I got going in the morning, but, I forgot some of my stuff in Drew's car. So I had to, see Drew again. And he had a whole beautiful, care package for me of van supplies and things he thought would be helpful, including a giant bundle of rope. And it was really sweet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Drew's so great. Wow. Well, so we were putting down miles. Wes and I on the route home totally leaned in to take advantage of tactical wife planning. She was great because she was watching us on the tracker, and so she was constantly looking into, okay, there's an Airbnb about an hour out or 2 hours out from you. You have these options, and then we would say, yeah, we'll make it this far. Then she'd book it for us, and all the details would just be handled for us, and we'd just show up and crash.
Yeah, we got a message with the door code and the Wi-Fi, and incredible.
Yeah, so we were able to move pretty quick. Because we had to. We wanted to make it back here in time for John. It's the final push of the trip. Wes and I are in Washington State, in eastern Washington State. We stopped at Wes's absolute favorite restaurant,
Burger King.
When the king tells you to get breakfast, you stop, you listen. So we filled up with gas, ordered some fully loaded croissantwiches.
Our way.
Yeah, always our way. And we're waiting on some French toast sticks because I assume the syrup's really good. And I wanted to get that. No, Wes is grabbing the French toast sticks. So we have about 5 hours or so on the road. I probably have another 6 or 7 after I drop Wes off. I'll have another couple hours. So 6 or 7 hours total for me. And then the trip's all done. No idea where Brent's headed right now. He's going in the opposite direction of home, so we'll figure that out at some point. But hopefully he's having a good time. It was a great time. And so Brent's total hours on the trip driving, you put in a massive 59.44 hours of continuous drive time.
That's like active motion time, right?
Yeah. And Wes and I put in a total drive time of 75.4 hours.
Ouch.
Which actually, I turned off the tracker in Seattle. So I continued to drive for another couple hours after that.
Yeah, that means you ended up driving for probably over 8 hours that last day. Sorry.
Yeah. Really amazing that there was really no incidents or any problems and that it went so smoothly and that we got to do the meetups. We just want to do more of it next time. We want to do more meetups on the route, maybe different routes and things like that because it was great and everything worked out. We made it back here just in time. 1Password. Are you ready, guys? Let's try it. You ready? 1Password. 1Password.com/unplugged. See if you
That's
get it.
with 1 or 2 G's.
I did. Oh, I already did it. Oh,
I'm going to do it too then. Yeah. Oh, pretty fast. Yeah. Although my image was slightly delayed. I'm going to try it again.
The word one, right?
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, the number one brand, password.com. I felt like we visited Planet Trelica on our trip.
HENU. Yeah, like that.
My goodness. My goodness. Go there right now. Support the show. Give them a little bit of a Sunday boom.
How do you do?
So how did I introduce John? Do you remember? I don't remember, actually.
That feels like such
all right,
a long time ago.
Yeah, all right. I'll do a... actually,
you could do a little test play. Do we have it?
Brent, could you just set me up with... this week, it is the Ubuntu... this week, Ubuntu 25. While we were on the road, Ubuntu 25.10 released... and we wanted to get the inside scoop from the VP of Engineering at Canonical. And I'll just...
Sure.
We'll just play it. Okay. Here we go. In 3, 2...
While we were on the road, Ubuntu 25.10 was released, and we had a chance to sit down with Jon Seager, VP of Engineering at Canonical, and get the inside scoop.
All right. And that is our chat with John. So then we don't have an Unraid ad this week. I don't know if they'll be back or not, but I'll find out. I was on the road, so, so I will say if you'd like to be a member, we'd love to have you be a member. Should I do a member read? Yeah, okay.
Well, I'm going to do an official... about the headsets also. Huge thanks.
Oh, yeah.
For headsets. You wanted to mention that?
You're right. Thank you.
Good call, Brent.
Good shout back. All right, I'm going to restart. linuxunplugged.com/membership. Go there to support the show, and you get access to the bootleg feed, which is clocking in at 1 hour and 58 minutes right now as we record lots of extra content, discussion, news that didn't fit into the topic of the week. All that stuff is there, and it's a great way to support the show directly. You just put your support on autopilot. And one of the things that our members made possible, just our community in general, has been really supportive over this last year. We didn't talk about it on this trip, but once again, the headsets that you helped us fundraise for Linux Fest Northwest, I think it was, or it was for Scale maybe, because we used them at Linux Fest Northwest, we used them at Scale, we've used them at Texas Linux Fest. Unbelievably how great they are. I mean, right. It totally has been fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. I was able to use one when I went to Nix Vegas.
Right.
I mean, they're just so much more portable than our previous setup.
It's everything we need fits in one backpack.
I think we used them on the van rescue too, Chris. Didn't we?
We did. So this is an example of how our funds can be allocated to make the show better, make the trips possible, and the gear we use, and we try to do it very wisely. We've been, the show turned 12, and we want to be here for another 12 years. So we try to be very careful about how we do this. And your direct support, either via a boost or from a membership at linuxunplugged.com/membership, makes all the difference. And thank you for your support.
Just waiting for those boosts to show up.
I was gonna say we don't have the feedback. So I'm looking at the doc. We did get a couple of emails that weren't like show, go in the show emails. So we got feedback, but and we also heard from Chris, who we met at Texas Linux Fest. We brought his family there, and he had some links for his first distro. So that was cool. Follow up from him. So Brentley, why don't you just why don't we come back and you bring us into the boost? All right, so here we go. In 3, 2.
Well, while we were on the road, the boost machine was still pumping, and a lot of you figured we probably needed to get home with some boosts. So we've got a baller.
And now it is time for Le Boost.
Black Host is our baller this week with 399,998 sats. All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate that, Black Host. They write, sending you some digital gas and wishing you a safe trip back home. Thank you for the amazing coverage on Texas Linux Fest. P.S. Drew's note's failing. Hopefully this one gets accepted. We'll look into that. We'll definitely look into that.
And thank you for the digital gas. It worked just as expected.
Thank you. We made it. We are back. Thank you, Black Host. I really appreciate that.
Outdoor Geek comes in with 100,000 sats.
Coming in hot with the boost.
Not bad. Thank you, Outdoor Geek.
Late Texas Linux Fest boost. I wasn't able to get Breeze to send a fountain, so I ended up using River instead. I was messing with Breeze, and eventually it told me I needed to enter an on-chain address to get my sats. I think my Breeze wallet had gone dormant because I didn't open the app for months. I think that's pretty much the behavior they do. So you don't lose your sats, but you do kind of have to go through a recovery process after your channels get closed.
I see. They close the channels.
Yeah.
River is great. I really like River. I think we have a jupiterbroadcasting.com/River affiliate URL. By the way, I think it's one of the best ways to stack sats. In the U.S., it's all they do, and they have a great infrastructure. And that is a great boost. Thank you, Outdoor Geek. Thanks for going through and trying it and then sending in your report. Appreciate that.
Well, we've got 2 boosts here from Daja for a total of 86,247 sats.
Hey.
I hoard that which your kind...
Well, be dipped.
Late text sats to help with the return gas. This is also a zip code boost. If you guys see this in time, you're more than welcome to take a pit stop at our office just off of the interstate. I'll be there pretty much all day, and we've got free soda. So we sent in a geohash 9x23J and a little matrix connection. So thank you, Daja.
Yes, zip code is a better deal.
Thankfully, I have my my well-tested map from our trip, which we brought along, of course. And this would be a postal code in Davis County, Utah.
Oh, okay. Well, Brent, you never know. Could be on your way back.
Next trip, we're keeping our boost dashboard open.
That is the way to go. We should have thought of that. I will note that. That is an error we will correct.
So thank
forward.
you, Daja.
Yeah. And thank you for the boost, Daja.
Now, the second boost here is actually a row of ducks with a little message. And Anyway, I forgot to mention that I was curious if you guys have ever messed around with getting Meshtastic hooked into Home Assistant. I've been toying around with getting sensor data passed over MQTT for a mesh of buildings with no internet to one that will bridge to the outside world. Super random and probably won't work as it's nice, but super random and probably won't work as nice as I'm hoping, but initial tests seem promising.
All right. Keep us posted, I suppose. I've always been curious. I've not looked at connecting Meshtastic to HA, but very, very interested in doing so. I'd say top tier interested, if that's such a thing. You know what I mean? Wes and I were literally talking about it on the drive. We had a lot of time to talk about things, but that was one of the things we talked about on the drive. Goose Guy comes in with 44,444 sats. Woo!
Put some macaroni and cheese on there, too.
Big old duck. Here's a late boost for your travels to and from Texas Linux Fest. The Texas Tracker is awesome. I'm glad you got to check on my favorite barbecue spot in Austin. Enjoy the sats.
Hey, we're glad too.
We are very glad we did. And thank you. We appreciate it. You know, the trip, as far as all the accounting, I'm still, of course, going through everything, and we'll have to figure all that out because also PayPal is still holding some of the funds. So very much appreciate that, Goose Guy.
Not the one.
And
go on, Brett.
Also note that the Texas Tracker will still be up because I'm not home yet. So if you want to follow the crazy journey that a Brent takes on his way home, please do. Probably be for the next, I don't know, at least week. I have no idea, actually.
Where even is home for you at this point?
Yeah, who knows?
Not the one boosts in with 20,000 sats.
Linux or something.
Sorry, I forgot to send this to help with costs for Texas. Hey, no need to apologize. We just appreciate it. Still struggling to work out how to properly set up NixOS. Need to read more. Any tips would help. Well, one thing, I mean, it maybe depend on, are you struggling with the initial install? Are you struggling just to really get a config you like? It might depend a bit on exactly where you are in the journey. But if you would like some inspiration, maybe check out episode 634. There should be a bunch of links to various user and audience member configs. There's a lot to be inspired by there.
And if you dig around on the downloads page for NixOS, there is a graphical installer you can grab, and they will set you up with a base config. Always a good place to start from.
Yeah, maybe even in a VM.
Yeah, you're not going to go wrong there, I don't think. Good question, and do keep us posted. And if you have any specific questions, please do feel free. Send those in to us.
Well, Kiwi Bitcoin Guide boosted in 4567 sats.
Oh my god, this drawer is filled with Fruit Loops!
Well, I've been listening and following live from New Zealand. May the force be with you.
Ah, thank you, Kiwi. Thanks for the New Zealand check-in. That is so cool. Love that. Jordan Bravo is in with a row of ducks, 2,222 sats. +1 to do another episode with the Rate My Config. All right, that's 2 votes.
Votes are climbing.
I don't know if that was a super well-received episode, the Config Confessions. Would like more feedback on that because we enjoyed it and we have a couple of configs in the kitty. It's a fun thing to do. So let us know. And thank you, Jordan. We will register your +1 on this matter.
Byte Bitten comes in with 2,000 sats. I like Android to be called Google's Android and the AOSP to be Google's Android source project.
Oh!
Gasp. As it doesn't feel open when everything needs to be registered and it makes devs gasp for air.
That's
I like you. You're a hot ticket.
That's good. Fire. I'm gonna try to remember that. That's a good one, Byte. Thank you.
Ed Broughton boosted in 5,000 sats.
This is a tasty burger.
I really enjoyed the road trip stories, and I'm looking forward to next week's episode. That's this one, where I hope to hear about the return trip. Thanks for the coverage of the Texas Linux Fest and for the effort the team puts into this show.
Well, thank you, Ed. Thank you for the boost. Really appreciate that. Hybrid Sarcasm's back with 10,000 sats.
He's a good guy. He's a real good guy.
No, he's a great guy. Tough little ship. Little.
Okay, so Hybrid's got an app pick for us. It's NC Spot. He's got a flat hub linked here. It's a Spotified TUI. It has a nice NCurses interface. And as one who likes to avoid Electron apps, if I can find that, it helps. A TUI via Flatpak, that's different and kind of neat.
Thank you, Mr. Sarcasm. This is great.
That's a bonus pick right there. Thank you, Hybrid. Appreciate that. It's NC Spot. I'm sure you can find it in all kinds of places. It's a cross-platform NCurses Spotify client. I mean, if you're going to use Spotify,
that's the way to do it.
That's probably the way to do it. Although friends don't necessarily let friends use Spotify. There is that. But that, if you're going to, that's probably the way to do it. Thank you, Hybrid. And please send more boost pics. Appreciate that.
Anonymous boosts in with 5,555 sats.
This is the way.
First time booster here finally took the dive and set up Albi Hub.
Hey, really?
Also, it was fantastic meeting y'all at Texas Linux Fest.
Right on. Nicely done.
I'd also like to give a special shout out to a standout member of the community, TechDev. While at the conference, I noticed how deliberately he reached out to everyone, especially those who seemed alone or were looking for a group to join. TechDev, your inclusive spirit is truly rare and deeply appreciated.
I will +1 that.
Yeah, me too.
I will +2 that one.
Yeah. TechDev, I think, made it a little extra special, and I was really glad that he could make it to the event. And I noticed the same. So I'm glad he got a shout out here in this boost. And congratulations on getting your own Albi Hub going.
Yeah, thank you for taking the deep dive to do it.
How fun is it, right? I mean, it's a little challenging, right? But it's such an unlock, too.
Well, Otterbrain boosted in 3,500 sats. Thanks for the coverage of Linux Fest. Thanks for the coverage of the Linux Fest. It was fun watching you guys crisscross the continent.
Well, thanks for following along.
Yeah, we do appreciate that. It was fun for us. We used the crap out of that tracker. Let me tell you, we really did. Begus Mascus comes in, probably not right, with a Spaceballs boost. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sats.
So the combination is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Hey, it's Brian from Boise. We were just talking about Brian. This is my first real boost. I was the guy who rolled up at the gas station, slid to your bit chat, and then crept up on your car in the dark while it was pouring rain. Thanks for taking a few minutes to chat. I was a bit nervous, probably because of the whole stalker vibe thing. But it's not every day you get to meet one of your heroes. Oh, Wes is pretty great, I will say.
No, it's all Brent.
Keep up the amazing content. I'll be boosting in regularly. Awesome! And hopefully my own new Albi build soon. Wow. Thank you for... I was hoping we would hear from you, Brian.
Yes, it was great to get to meet you. Thank you for putting in the effort, especially in the pouring rain.
It was a hell of a storm. We did not expect anyone to come out. And we were stopped there at that gas station for a minute. So he must have wondered what was going on because we were like looking at the storm routing, trying to figure out.
Debating how far could we make it in this? Where do we sleep?
The traction was low. I mean, there was just so much standing water. So we didn't want to drive in that all night. But we were totally happy that Brian stopped by. And we had the quick, hey, how you doing moment. And thanks for saying hi kind of thing. So we do hope to hear from you more, Big, and keep on boosting in.
Well, Brad at Team Toronto boosts in with 7,500 sats.
The traders love the vol.
+1 for more Nick's Confessions. Okay, that's 3.
All right.
We have a smart audience. Yeah, amen to that. And it's great to hear and see via Git what everyone is doing. Would love to see more around Nick's as well, or even other topics like Home Assistant, utilities, scripts, etc. Leverage the community for more content.
Love it. Oh, I would definitely love to see some more community contributions around their Home Assistant setups.
I'm sure there's some stellar stuff.
I am in a bad way with my Home Assistant. Right before I left for the trip, my Zigbee radio just seems to have gone offline. And yeah, and so Home Assistant can't talk to my Zigbee radio. None of my Zigbee devices are working, and it's just totally busted. And it was like the day I left. And I haven't had a chance to look at it because we got right back to the studio and did the show. So I haven't even really dug in yet and looked at the logs. But man, is it a sucky thing, because that kind of thing never happens to me on this. It's been so solid. And it's the built-in Home Assistant yellow radio, too. Oh, if anybody has any tips, please let me know. I am not looking forward to troubleshooting that one. And thank you, Brad. I will take those notes. Those are good ones. Appreciate that.
Our last boost here is from Magnolia Mayhem, 3,210 sats.
Well, let's hear it, good buddy.
Yeah, I think for context, this is a live boost from our live stream earlier in the day during our interview with John.
Nice.
In our interview, there's a quote here, accused of making Ubuntu more like Nix. Well, Magnolia Mayhem says, I fail to see the problem here.
There could be some nice things to learn, right? You got to keep Ubuntu. I do agree there, and people depend on that. But there's a lot to learn from all the great projects out there.
Indeed.
I had so many more questions for John. I mean, so many more questions.
Same.
So we'll try to get him back on soon. Thank you, everybody who supported the show with a boost or a membership. And thank you, everybody who also streams sats as you listen. 24 of you did that, and collectively, you sat streamers stacked 39,018 sats for the show. When you combine that with our boosters, we stacked a really very, very, very great 745,000 839 sats. And we are putting that towards the Texas Linux Fest trip. We did have a little extra travel going to Denver.
And that's from almost 40 unique people out there. Isn't that crazy?
That's great. Thank you, everybody. If you'd like to boost the show, Fountain.fm makes it real easy. That's a podcasting 2.0 client that just hosts all that. But you could keep your client, set up an Alby Hub, and use the podcast index or whatever you like. There's a lot of options there. Check it out at podcastapps.com. Fountain has been getting really, really good, too. They've been making some fantastic, fantastic improvements. And thank you to our members, linuxunplugged.com/membership, for putting that support on autopilot. We very much appreciate it. Now, our pick this week, this is only the kind of thing that people that are absolutely exhausted and have been driving across the country would come up with. This would never make it into the show otherwise. I am aghast that we have this in here.
Yeah, what's your problem? It's the Performance Optimizer Observation Platform.
Yeah, POOP for short. But and I love their tagline, stop flushing your performance down the drain. You see what they did there?
I think you'll like this, though. We don't have a sound effect yet, but it's 100% Zig.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it uses Linux's built-in perf event open functionality to compare the performance of multiple commands with a colorful terminal user interface.
That's the part I like. Is they're just building on some stuff that's existing in Linux to give you some really great comparisons in a very readable way. The name's silly, but the utility is there.
Yeah, and folks might be familiar with Hyperfine, which is sort of a more mature project in this space, which bills itself as a command line benchmarking tool. So that's kind of where this thing is aimed, is you can, maybe you've got different versions of something with different tweaks or comparing programs doing the same kind of work.
But how much Zig is that one written in?
Well, that one's written in a combination of Rust and Python.
You see?
Yeah,
not
0% Zig.
I asked Zig. That's 0% Zig.
Right.
This is 100%
100% Zig native pick this week.
You're welcome, everybody. And it is MIT licensed, so have at it as you will like or whatnot. And we will have poop linked in the show notes. Okay, there you go. See, you could tell we're a little tipsy from the road. We wouldn't have put that in there otherwise. It was probably Brent's idea. I'm gonna just go ahead and blame him on that one. You know what I mean? Just go ahead and blame him.
See you next week. Same bad time, same bad station.
All right, we will be live back at our regular time. Of course, we'd love it if you joined us over at jblive.tv on a Sunday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. Links to what we talked about are at linuxunplugged.com/636. And there's some good ones this week for Cosmic and, of course, the new Ubuntu release. Wes, if they are in a super power user podcasting app, we have some great features for them?
Oh, yeah, we do. Well, we have cloud chapters.
Boom.
So they can jump right to the content they like or listen to the show in whatever order.
What else do we have?
Well, if you want to take an even deeper dive into the show, check out our transcripts.
We got transcripts now.
Yes, plenty of apps, and some of them even show our speaker diarization so you can tell which of us said the dumb thing.
I love it. All right, we'll have a big show for you, so join us right back here next week. Okay, I'll stop, Brownlee. I'll stop. We did it, boys. We did it. Woo! Shut her down.
Where are we traveling to for next week's episode?
All right, now we need to spin up some titles. How are we going to do this?
We got boating music, right?
Well, we don't have anything to boat on.
Ask the LLM. Brent and I threw a couple of probably mostly from my side bad options. But
There's some zingers in there,
but
though.
maybe those could inspire decent options with your input.
I have Desktop Linux's New Era was the generic one I came up with.
Okay.
Desktop for developers, Year of the Developer Desktop, Year of the Rust desktop. Big Bertha's Revenge. Big Bertha Rides Again. Tales of Two Distros. Ooh. The Way Forward. Drew's Desktop Disco. More Bash Out of Boot. Well, we better spin up the title collider because we got nothing.
All that hard work, Wes, and it just...
We got this. There we go. Oh!
Well, we got to combine Cosmic. We got to come with, Ubuntu, maybe some Rust. Joins the two.
There's a trip in there.
Anybody in the Mumble Room have a title suggestion?
Journey to Rust.
Nobody? Nobody? Okay.
Rusty Road Trip.
No. Not about Rust. It's something about...
Brent's Busted Bang Bus?
Hey, it's getting better.
No, so the two common themes are like Ubuntu's going in a future direction, planning for like the next 20 years, and Canonical's building this new System 76 is building this new desktop environment. Like there's a shared like desktop future theme there.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
I don't know what.
Still the Year of the Rust desktop. No, I'm just kidding.
Dusty.
We could run for something like the Year of the BSD desktop. Cosmic.
Aren't you trolly today?
Welcome to intermission.
The next desktop era. The next Linux desktop.
The fight for the future of the desktop. So I have desktop Linux's new era, which is pretty generic, but it's a fallback.
It is more than just the desktop too, though, right?
I mean, in this context, in this episode, we're really talking about the desktop, though.
Core utils and...
Okay.
Okay, here's one, Chris. Distro desktop development.
Distro.
I like Disco.
I mean, if you think about it, well, because Ubuntu they're actually starting to develop the desktop again. Cosmic is under active development, and it's alliterative, which you like.
I like the alliteration, but we could even go with something like Canonical's Cosmic Core Utils at that point.
Hey, it's Tech Dev. Hey, Tech Dev.
Hey.
Okay,
hello.
Hello. We were just talking about you. Were your ears burning?
I heard.
Good.
Are you guys in the Matrix chat?
No, the Matrix chat's the Matrix chat is currently under our server is currently under database operation. We had a big old database. Like what was it?
How big old was it?
It was terabytes.
1.7 terabytes.
Yeah, that's what it was. And then one user had like 800 gigs alone, and it's just crazy. It was just
it kind of ballooned while we were on the road. I did look at it before we left. It was doing all right.
Well, see, Chris, Matrix.org had their big database problem, so your server was just jealous.
I guess.
I think
wanted
so.
to have database issues too.
Somebody just went bonkers because this is all like tables in a database. Like this one guy was like, I forgot. You sent us the stats, Wes. I looked at it earlier before we got started. Oh, here we go. 4.6 billion rows.
Yeah.
4.6 billion rows from one user in the database.
Because of messages or file storage?
It would be references to files and messages. I
No, well, it's also
and sync state from.
Yeah, also if they participate in rooms with like a ton of sync state.
Yeah,
I think that's a big part of it.
So if they're in a lot of very active rooms.
So probably Jeff joined all the most active rooms.
Yeah, I'd probably say it's Jeff.
Yeah.
So
well, Chris, I do have that JB account on your guys' server. If you want, I could just go around and find the largest rooms and just join all of those, and we'll see how fast it falls over.
I love Matrix.
Yeah, maybe test it on someone else's server first just to make sure it works.
How about engineering the future?
Ooh, I don't hate that.
Simple, effective.
Yeah. I kind of like engineering the future because it applies to both.
Mm-hmm.
The escape from Texas to tell a story. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Can't believe we did that. It feels like the last 3 weeks or 2 weeks have all just been 5 days.
It's a blur for sure.
Yeah.
Remember how we were in Austin?
No.
Blur. Yeah.
Remember how we were in Utah?
Barely.
Yeah, not
how many
really.
states did you boys cross?
Well, we should look. We could look.
You're doing better than us.
Yeah, I think you got his feet now, right?
Fair.
So we did Idaho, we did Montana, we did Wyoming, we did Colorado.
I get 9.
Okay.
If we include Washington.
Yeah, if you include Washington. Well, Washington's big enough. You should include it. It takes a day to just get through Washington. I liked our route home. That was nice. You know, maybe it wasn't the absolute most efficient.
I'm glad we took that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to see the that giant, masonry smokestack.
Yeah, that's true. That was actually kind of fun. But look at those crazy routes. Just nuts. And now,
when are you gonna do the road trip to the East Coast?
Yeah, we'll probably figure out another one in the future. We enjoyed it quite enough.
Brent, I think you're at 11.
11 states plus part of one province, I guess.
Yeah, so 12 if you,
That's not bad.
No, it's not. And you have options. I mean, who knows how you'll get back?
Yeah,
I don't know.
He should fly.
Maybe I could.
You got to get one of those maps you can fill in the states as you visit.
That would be fun, Brent. Are you Darwich in any of this?
Oh, all of it.
Good.
Yeah, it's like a color as you go. Oh, I got another state.
I'd say you just go right up Nebraska, South Dakota, North Dakota into Winnipeg, and then go right where east from there.
Drew's only advice was do not do Kansas. So
you could swing into
I
Kansas
trusted Drew.
with this.
There's a story there. We should have asked Drew what the story was. You know?
Hey, Drew, what's the deal with Kansas?
Mm-hmm.
Did you say 11 states or 12 states?
Is it the road?
12 if we're including your...
If it's the road, that's one thing. However, if the road's good, but it's just boring, that's fine. It means it's easier to boondock.
True.
It's easier on the car.
It's so true. Yeah. I think he did say it was quite plain. Get it?
Honestly, that might be all you want.
Yeah, at this point.
Flat,
I love
smooth.
passes, but the van, man, getting out of Denver, those were real passes, like
yes,
not like
dude.
that lame.
No.
And going up and going down, the van I was feeling quite bad. You know, that mechanical empathy.
Because you were downshifting.
Yeah, and using engine braking to just slow myself down. Because also, we haven't really given any love to the brakes other than slight bleeding in the System 76 parking lot with Drew.
We didn't even mention that in the show, but we did a crazy little quick brake bleed. Brent did.
Turns out Drew, brake guy.
That's true.
Big brake.
I was hesitant, but it was the right decision. So we got some.
Did I have any influence on this decision? I tried to talk you into it.
Oh yeah. No, you all three were very much suggesting. Brakes are such a wild card. I've had bad experiences in the past. Although this new brake bleeding kit that I brought along, which was obviously a good decision, kind of changing my mind. It's going great.
Yeah, you were really you busted that thing out, man.
Well, it took longer to convince me to do the brakes than it did to actually do the brakes. So
that's true. That is true. All right. Well, I think we need to get this turned around for Drew so he can do all the slicing and dicing he needs to do. So,
hey, Brent.
That's me.
Are you going to be going back to basically kind of where you started the trip from?
Basically, sort of, but I don't know which path I'll take. So I do have you in mind.
Well, except for come on, no. You have 4 days to do a 7-day drive.
Is actually
you're not stopping anywhere but gas, and when you sleep.
Well,
that's quite true.
Yeah, so the reason I was asking is because if you look at our DMs, I sent you a little sneaky thing there of even if you can't meet up on the way back, there's the possibility that down the road we could meet up at where I suggested.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're not that far from where I'm hanging out. So our DMs are not working currently, but thank you for the offer. That's awesome.
They'll be back soon. They'll be back soon.
Well, yeah. So, like I said, Brent, I've got a open invitation to a private campground in the UP. Woo! So there's the possibility we could meet there.
Okay. Well, I will record that and for future consideration. That sounds amazing.
All right, gentlemen.
Because I mean, if I can run up there and basically help you with electrical, then
Oh, I need help.
Because I've got all the specialized tools. So I've got specialty crimpers and specialty cutters and
I have specialized problems.
And hey, let's face it, it would be worth the trip just to be able to meet you, hang out, and let's face it, the real reason I'm coming is to see the cats.
Oh, well, I understand that. I get it.
They are very cute.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. All right, Mumble Room, thank you for hanging out with us today.
Yeah, you really helped when we were chatting.
Pleasure.
Yeah, extra special today. making it the live vibe. Appreciate it. Take the rest of the day off. You have our permission. If anybody gives you any gruff, just send them to Brent. He'll sweet talk them for you. All right?
Yeah. Hey, Chris.
Yeah. Go ahead.
We got to talk at the bar about this Nebula registration API with config management and whatnot.
Yeah.
I pulled that out of the weeds. It's running. I got to strip some of the stuff out of it from previous connection to the project, but if you want, sometime probably in a week's time or so, I could demo it for you.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, we'd definitely like that.
Yeah, probably by the end of... Well, probably by... Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be pretty busy catching up this week, so you don't have to rush, because I'll probably be have more bandwidth next week after I get caught up. So if that works out for your timeline...
It's 2 weeks, that...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
I just got back down into the South America, so time is nice, but we'll figure it out.
Absolutely. And yeah, Matrix or Telegram, whatever. Just let me know.
Coolio.
All right. Okay, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for hanging with us. Bye, Z's.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
And of course, thank you everybody who's tuning in live. Sorry we didn't have a chat room for you today, but I think we'll probably have that remedied pretty soon. And we managed to muddle on by. But of course, a lot of gratitude goes to our members who make it possible, and that's why we do these bootlegs. And I hope you enjoyed. It's a bit of a funky one, but it's funky in the way only our members get it. Appreciate you. See you next week.
Chris found love, but it's complicated, man. Turns out he's in love with another man's van. Rescued from the brink, should've never worked at all. Fixed fuel leaks in Jeff's yard, praying it wouldn't stall. Yeah, Chris loves another man's van. Brought her back to life, now he's her biggest fan. Holding our breath, each cop that we pass. They don't build them like they used to, and this van kicks ass. 1,800 miles along the coast we cruised. Brent's heart fell deeper every turn he used. Chris felt the spark, he just couldn't resist. Old van charm, man, it shouldn't feel like this. Yeah, Chris loves another man's van. Brought her back to life, now he's her biggest fan. Holding our breath, each cop that we pass. They don't build them like they used to, and this van kicks ass. Studio after one hell of a ride, laughing how we made it, somehow we survived. Leaking fuel lines, fate held by a thread, but Chris fell harder with each mile ahead. We never knew if we'd make it, but somehow we did. Chris found his love in a van. Sorry, Brent, it's complicated.